And welcome to Red Leaf Retrocast Wrestling episode 99. Truthgate Positive Chain. Name of this episode. There's your hint for what we're discussing. I am joined by Scotty from everything.
That's fair. That's fair. Everything, but none of the bigger things. Is that better?
Well, the bigger things is where I'm at.
That's true. That's true. So I'm here now.
Who's got the scoops? I've got the scoops, apparently. Where did the Megan Bain news come from? This guy.
I applaud you for showing up to the show.
I showed up to the show, did a tweet. Hey, look, man, my tweet, I got fuck on Fightful, The Observer, 411 Mania. I am everywhere, man. It's kind of funny. Come on.
It's wild that I thought everyone knew that already when you tweeted it out. Like, I thought we all knew she was really hurt. But hey, shouts out. Megan Bain, one of the rising stars. Very sad, though. Overall, very sad that was the news you had to get popular for, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even tag anyone in it. It was just, I just had this grainy picture from my ringside seat and like, oh, she's out. Fuck. Well, okay, yeah. It went a little viral, I guess. But cool. Podcast episodes have spiked, so thanks everyone for listening to the Inside Scoops. You want more? Hey, that's what the Patreon's for. Patreon.com/RedLeaf Retrocast. If you want to hear the entire WWR Galentine's Day Massacre show, where the scoop was first broke, go check that out on the Patreon, along with LLPW reviews, JD Star reviews, the Joshi 2010s journey. Got a lot of stuff over there. There's the Patreon plug. That's what's going on. What are we talking about today on this podcast? Scotty, thank you for joining, by the way.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Ring Post Radio. Last word on sports and wrestling. You do articles there. You do some articles on Voices of Wrestling. You got the 5-Star Joshi podcast. Big fans of all your work. Keep up the good work, man.
I appreciate that, and I'm not gonna, attack you for your drafting from, the Joshi pod. I will not attack you for passing up on certain people for Yuka Sakazaki. I will not attack you. I promise. This is your show.
Well, the Joshi draft is also available on the podcast feed. You could definitely go listen to that and attack me, no problem. At Bowling JD, by the way, attack away. That's what a social media is for, right?
Well, I mean, sometimes when it comes to you, it's about certain other things. Come on, Gleet.
Puke in my mouth a little bit with that. But anyways, on this podcast today, we got a little Warrior Wrestling to talk about. We're heading back over to Europe. There's a Rev Pro High Stakes show. Haven't talked about Rev Pro in ages on this podcast. No WXW for this particular episode. They're gearing up for the 16 karat gold tournament, which is happening in a couple weeks. So that's going to be really, really cool. Big 3-day event, happens every year. I'm very excited for it. They got Jonathan Gresham's in it, Biff Busick's in it. They got a lot of their own homegrown talent that's going to be in it to try to elevate. I'm really curious what they try to do in the tournament this year. It looks like there's a big story behind Bobby Guns, since he's never been in the 16-karat tournament before. He's a former champion. He's coming off a big win. I like the booking that's going on in WXW right now. Even if, the skill level isn't quite there. You feel me, Scotty?
That's WWE's show, because it's on Peacock.
Oh. Well, I mean, it's going to be like a month delay, but yeah, you will be able to see it. Yeah.
I just saw them upload it the other day. I was like, I completely forgot that WWE still has independent shows getting uploaded. But, I love tournaments. I think you love tournaments. So I can't wait to check that out. And I'm very intrigued by Biff Busick. I know you got blood splatter on you the last time he wrestled, so...
All right, so little Patreon talk there, a little plug for it, little teaser is, I have gotten some sort of liquid splattered on me the last couple shows I've been to, whether it's beer, water, or blood. I'm on a roll. I'm in the line of fire constantly. You can definitely see me on IWTV just get nailed on the last show.
I'm gonna assume water was your preference out of the three to get splattered with. Yeah. Yes.
The water was the most effective. It was definitely on me longer, that's for sure. The beer was the most uncomfortable because that fell from a balcony on top of my head.
Oh, that's no.
Yeah.
Well, the blood's just, blood, so.
Less desirable. Then we go into the Joshi news and topics. Got some Wave, Oz I want to clown on, TJPW, Ice Ribbon, and a little Stardom talk. Not going to be a whole bunch. Then we'll... I don't know how much Dragongate you watched, Scotty, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts over what I have to say in case you didn't watch the Truthgate show.
I've been getting into Dragongate more, so I'm looking forward to that conversation. I think I might have jumped in at the wrong time, but I jumped in nonetheless.
Ooh, I'm very... well... So you're not the only one that's kind of said something along those lines, but I'm very curious to your thoughts because the Truthgate show, to me, in a lot of ways, disappointed. But from a couple other Dragongate fans that I'd spoken to, they really came out a lot more positive than me. So I guess we'll see what each other think about that.
Whoa!
What's up,
JD? Someone came out of a show more positive than you?
Yeah. Unless it's I only like 30-minute draws now. That's true. There was no 30-minute draws on the Dragongate show, so no one got over. Obviously,
exactly. If someone's winning, that means no one got over. Need the 30-minute draw.
Yeah, if someone won, that means obviously someone got buried, and the person didn't need the win. Obviously, that's how these things work.
When nobody wins, everybody wins.
All right. I'm gonna go a little bit easier on the drops today. We're just gonna keep going into it. What are we, like 10 minutes in already? 7 minutes in. This might be the quickest yet. Warrior Wrestling 19. I've been getting into the Warrior Wrestling a little bit lately. It's one of the bigger indies out there. They got some high name bookings, and it was very much featured by, I thought, a very good last 4 matches on the card. I did watch the whole thing. I heard you guys at Ring Post Radio kind of skip over a couple matches. I'd be very curious to what you think about the Sky Blue Miranda Alizé match because it's part of like Sky Blue's development in a lot of ways, and there's something interesting going on between these ex-ROH women, namely the 3 of them, Roxy, Alizé, and I guess you could throw Willow Nightingale in there. Even Trish Adora to an extent. Let's say it's 4. Let's be nice. And they're like not winning, but the dev people from AEW are. Do you have any issue behind that? Or is it just, it's an indie show, kind of get over it situation?
I'm big into the AEW wins everything, no matter what. Like, if you're not signed to a contract, you're not winning. And we saw it on this show with an even bigger match. So I think we're at the point where Warrior Wrestling's trying to please everybody and be like, oh, well, if AEW is going to keep giving us talent, even if it's not the highest of talent, we're going to please them. We're going to give them some wins. So it doesn't bother me too much, but I like Miranda Alizé, so that's kind of sad to hear that she lost. And I like Roxy too, but we know what's going on there. It's just, you have someone signed to a company and you're working with them. You probably want to please them, even if it's developmental people, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. And honestly, I kind of agree with this booking a little bit just in the outside of AEW sense, because Alizé's been kicking around for like 10 years. She's kind of at this level established, and Sky Blue is the hot product. She's young. She has all the potential in the world, and she needs wins like this more than, say, Alizé at this point in time. And Sky Blue has a much higher ceiling. So that's where I'm coming from on that perspective.
That's a good point.
Santana defeats Mike Bailey. I gave that 2 out of 3 stars. Dante Martin defeated Bandito, which, okay, this one I saw was the one that bothered people because Bandito is still the sort of Ring of Honor champion, and Dante Martin is the big AEW prospect. This one should have been like a 15-minute draw, let's be honest.
Yeah, this was the definition of, okay, go with the draw. You definitely don't want Bandito to lose if you're Ring of Honor. I guess Ring of Honor doesn't get much say nowadays.
No.
we don't know what's going on there. I guess we kind of do now that they have a show plan. But Yeah, I was stunned. I was really stunned. I expected either a screwy finish or not the clean finish. That's what I didn't. That's the one thing I didn't expect for Dante Martin to win. But it goes back to my thought about the AEW thing. You want to keep pleasing them. You want to keep bringing in their talent. You want to bring in a big name eventually. No offense to Brian Cage. Then you gotta keep pleasing Tony Khan. And with Dante Martin having a big match on TV this coming week, while Bandito has nothing, it kind of makes sense if you look at that way.
Yeah, if you look at it that way, I do agree in that sense. It's just I guess in my mind, as more of a smart fan, a smart marquee fan, Bandito is a bigger star than Dante Martin at this point in time, and that's why this was like super shocking to a lot of us.
Yeah, I mean that's totally fair. When I read Bandito's name, I usually look forward to his match, which I guess tells you not that he's just really good in the ring, but he is the bigger name. He's been in Best of the Super Juniors. He's, again, Ring of Honor World Champion. That still means a little something, even if he's half a champion. So yeah, it is shocking. But I enjoy these Warrior Wrestling shows, so I guess I won't question them too much.
Yeah, the Warrior Wrestling shows, I think there could be a little bit more booking involved, but it just seems like a lot of the talent is kind of come and go, which it's kind of the state of the indies in general. But that's kind of why I'm really into what the New England scene does between like Limitless and Beyond, is they kind of stick with a lot of the local talent, and then they bring an occasional name in that's bigger, and they build them up, and there's a little bit more booking to it than just say like West Coast Pro and Warrior Wrestling, which are good indie promotions. There's just too much touch and go sometimes, and like the Santana Mike Bailey match, as really good as that was, I'm very impressed with Santana's work lately, and the Proud and Powerful Boys. I'm very curious what they have going on with AEW this coming week. And Mike Bailey's an Impact talent. He should lose every time. You're signed with Impact, you lose in my eyes.
I really wish he came to the States before signing, because man, he's so good. He's so much better than Impact.
Well, I can totally see why he went the Impact route, because they're a Canadian-based promotion these days, or at least in that sense, and probably the work visa is much easier to come by through them. Yeah. And he's been out of the U.S. banned for the last 5 years, so it's like I could see the train of thought here. Is like, I gotta get in this fucking country.
Right. Well, it makes all the sense when you put it that way. It's just, man, he's so much better than that.
Briscoes retain the Ring of Honor tag. The Ring of Honor titles are just like these indie traveling titles right now. I kind of like that. It creates some stakes in these indie promotions, which is kind of cool. I like this Workhorseman match. I like Anthony Henry and JD Drake. They all just beat the shit out of each other like Southern boys out there. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I tweeted out after watching this. It was kind of like old school tag team wrestling, and that's really what JD Drake especially, that's his style. I know a lot of people don't like the Briscoes lately for some reason. I think they're still one of the best tag teams in the world. I don't know. I just see it on Twitter once in a while, like, oh, it's the Briscoes, and like I saw them get announced for a match against the Lucha Brothers. I was like, hello, why is no one
oh yeah, the House of Glory match? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, like I'm all in on the Briscoes just kind of going all out on these random indie shows right now. I would like if they got signed by someone, but they're so loyal to Ring of Honor. It looks like they're at least going to finish up there. Probably have that FTR match at what is the next show? Super Card of Honor.
Yeah, like a couple of these matches. Like if I'm playing armchair Booker Man over here and I'm good old TK, like why wouldn't you strike something with Ring of Honor to have these matches on your grounds? Like these are big like why are you letting the Lucha Bros and the Briscoes go at it in House of Glory? Fucking book that shit for one. Dynamite. It's like have that shit on Dynamite. Like who cares if the Lucha Bros lose? They just lost to the Blackthorn guys.
That's true.
It's okay if these guys lose, but he's so worried about stat padding that it's if you want your rankings to not matter, like, or matter too much, just give them a big win. Who cares? Just say, power rankings. It bumps them up. So what if they're 4 and 5? Like,
also, no one bats an eye if the Lucha Brothers lose to the Briscoes of all teams. Like,
right.
The wrestling world knows. AEW fans know who the Briscoes are. They respect who the Briscoes are. So yeah, I'm with you there. The stat thing, the rankings thing, it's just so. We're not getting into it. We're not getting into it.
Yeah, I'm going to go into a thing myself later during my AEW talk over kind of the state of rankings in the women's division and kind of an update. It all spurred a big topic over the Hikaru Shida article that came out that was poorly covered by Fightful. That if they would have talked to me a little bit more, but Sean Ross Sapp still has me blocked because I called him out for sport washing years and years ago.
Oof.
He didn't like that.
He doesn't like that much.
Yeah, he was. I finally found that tweet that got me blocked by him years ago. Was the very first Saudi event, and he touted it as changing culture, and I go, bro, it's sport washing, basically, and he blocked me.
Yeah. Oh, so he was big on the WWE influencing the world type stuff way before they were. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Not afraid to use my Megan Bain information, though. He had to unblock me and block me right away. I caught him.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Thunder Rosa versus the returning Athena, formerly Ember Moon, to the, wrestling scene. And I was super curious about this match from a number of different aspects. I've been putting out some tweets out there. I've been talking about it with you guys at Discord and some fans where there was a lot of questions around Athena. No one doubts that she's talented. I was wondering where she's at this point in her career, especially coming off of a major Achilles injury and essentially just not being used in wrestling matches for the past 2 years. There was a health concern. There was a motivation concern. How much does she still have? Is she going to go out there and be kind of a high ceiling potential athlete? Because she's still only in her early 30s. She doesn't have a whole lot of wear and tear to her. Or is she going to go out there and be mid Ruby Soho? As much as I like Ruby Soho's charisma and personality, she's not the best in-ring person out there. So when you saw the match, Scotty, I know you and Ryan had some thoughts on Ring Post Radio. I don't necessarily agree with them, but I do encourage people to go listen to that episode to really get your full thoughts. But as for Athena and her match, are you more convinced that she can get back to a high level, or do you still have questions?
Oh, I'm convinced. I liked it a lot more than Ryan did. If you listened to the episode, I liked the match, especially once they got through the Achilles thing. For those who haven't watched it, there was a point where she faked the Achilles. She tried to be the heel in the match. Yeah, whatever. But when I walked out of it, I was like, okay, she is good to go. I see the Ember Moon that was facing Asuka. I see the Athena before NXT. There's still that part of her in there, of course, like you said, over the past 2 years. She's either been in a tag team or not wrestling at all. With the Achilles injury really, kicked that into gear. There was a time that she thought she may never come back. Now she's here. She's back. And I thought by the end, her and Thunder Rosa had a really good match. I really did think that. And like I said, I can understand some that, may have not loved it. And that goes back to the 30-minute draw thing, which is just something that kind of lives rent-free in certain people's heads.
It's really funny.
It is. It doesn't affect me at all. I mean, I watch Stardom, every single week, every single weekend. Draws don't bother me. And I understood this draw. And hopefully, and I think you pointed this out on Twitter, hopefully you run it back in a bigger venue, bigger spot, aka AEW, hopefully.
That was okay. This is where I interrupt you. So the 30-minute draw really got me thinking, because clearly the idea was to get Athena out there in a big match and prove not only to herself but the fans that she can do this. So the long match accomplished that just from you and I discussing it now. The draw aspect is super interesting, where it really gets me thinking that there's something there where she could possibly show up in AEW, and Tony Khan got a little birdie on the call, or whatever that's not the right phrase. There was a what am I thinking of? What is this weird phrase that's stuck in my head?
I know what you're trying to say, but
whatever. He picked up the phone. He's like, "Hey, Athena, contract. You're not losing. I need you to look strong coming in." And going to a draw to this level with Thunder Rosa, one of the bigger stars in AEW, especially in the women's division, they can plug that on Dynamite like it's a big thing and show Warrior Wrestling footage on Dynamite. I could totally see all of this happening. So my armchair Booker Man instincts are kicking in, like, okay, there is something more here than meets the eye. And I'm quite excited for this speculation I have put myself into.
Well, not to cut you off, but I think Athena is an obvious signee for that division, and I think it's obvious that Thunder Rosa is probably winning the title when she gets the shot. So there's a title match right there. There's a title match right there. You have the footage that you can use. You can even show that Achilles thing of like Athena tried to get one over on Thunder Rosa. She tried to be almost desperate in a way of using those heel tactics to get one over on her. It didn't work. They went to 30 minutes. I like where you're going with it, of showing the footage, using that as part of the story instead of just completely ignoring it, because I think that would be very smart. You have that relationship with them. They would give it to you in seconds.
Yeah, the other idea there is Thunder Rosa is also a booker woman. She does a lot of work in Mission Pro, her promotion. Maybe she wants to run this back in her promotion as a bigger match. That's very possible as well. That gets a lot of draw in there. And I've been thinking in my head something to help out the AEW women's division, because these women need reps, like, badly. And there needs to be some sort of specialized development program there for a lot of these women, because they lack, and I'm going to go into a lot of detail over this in the AEW section, is there needs to be a creativity spike and influence within this division, because none of them have this experience, nor have they ever had the encouragement or opportunity in these various indie promotions. Because when was the last time, like, Ring of Honor's women division, what did that consist of for women up and coming to the scene? It was like Mandy Leone and company. Well, those aren't the women that are signed to these companies right now. And that's where a Mission Pro could come in. You have the Thunder Rosa connection. Send your women there. Get their reps in. Would it be the worst idea to invest a little bit into like a traveling Mission Pro and kind of front some development bills? That's where my mind is also thinking when it comes to a lot of this Athena work and Thunder Rosa, and how it's really coming across of how Thunder Rosa thinks about women's wrestling and how much Mission Pro means to her. There's a lot of value Thunder Rosa brings, and this match, I'm definitely overthinking this more than just a fan watching a match and going, "Oh, they went to a draw, no big deal." I'm definitely going way more in depth into prospects and what this possibly means down the line. That's also why I like the draw so much. Where the match doesn't go like full 3-star recommendation for me is that heel work at the start, because nobody came to boo Athena. Nobody came to root against her. They all just wanted to see a good match, and it's very archaic Western booking where someone has to be the heel all the time. And when Athena first comes out and she's all smiles, she's showing off what great shape she's in. You see those shoulders, Scotty? Good God.
Yeah, she was ready for this, It was just about shaking off a little rust, which, again, by the end, I didn't think there was much. But yeah, she was in great shape. I'm just really happy for her after what she's went through.
Yeah, it's really good. And once they got past the heel stuff and realized very quickly that it didn't work, that's when they went into the back 2/3 of the match. And I thought those near falls at the end were fantastic. because it's a 30-minute draw in America and not Stardom or Wave or any of these other promotions that we watch, Scotty, I was rooting for the draw. I was like, do it. I need it. So the near falls, I was like, no, kick out. What are you doing?
Yeah, when she was going up for the Eclipse, I was like, no, hit it like, give me like a little scare. She hit it with like 1 second left. I was like, come on, you gotta hit that a little earlier. You gotta give me a little more drama, even though I knew the 30-minute draw was hitting, but they don't do draws all day like Stardom, so you can't get that final hold shit. They sure should. Look at Stardom right now. Warrior Wrestling might be watching. I know. Athena's going by the American Joshi now, so she must be watching.
Yeah, buddy, I fucking love that shit. That was great. I was like, yes. That's a good name for you. Yeah, the timing was a little off at the end. That's another big detractor for me, giving it full 3. Was they definitely tried to sell the exhaustion and time out the Eclipse as well as they could. Just took a little bit longer, and then time expired, and Thunder Rosa was rolling out of the ring. Obviously, they were going to have something like time ticking down as Thunder Rosa was rolling out, and the camera shoots to Thunder Rosa, and she's got the whole smart me, still got the title. It's like, that's a heel tactic. What are you doing? You just
you know what's funny about the exhaustion thing? We just saw that in Mayu and Julia. We saw that exact, Mayu's taking her time, getting to the top rope on the second moonsault. Was it the second moonsault? Yeah. The second top rope moonsault, and she hits it clean. There's time, but right then, Julia kicks out, and it's one of those things like, oh, maybe they're not used to draws, so I can't get too mad at them. Mayu's just built on them, so she knows what's up.
Yeah, I'm very curious to what is coming after for Athena. I'm not aware of any. I haven't looked into any further bookings she might have down the road, but who knows? We might see her make a flash appearance saving Thunder Rosa from a beatdown against Jamie Hayter and Mercedes Martinez. Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be a great tag team match if they wanted to do that afterwards.
Yeah, it's something to build Revolution, eh? I got a nice fantasy booking thing in the AEW section as well, revolving around Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker going forward. Time for, I guess, to talk about Will Ospreay, because he's kind of a good wrestler. Let me play this drop right quick. Alrighty, Rev Pro High Stakes. We're going across the pond, and look, Rev Pro, it's still a well-booked promotion with terrible production. Nothing's changed.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So, out of the whole card, there was really only about a few matches that I just want to give a little praise to. It's the Shota Umino defeating Yota Tsuji match. Good stuff. 16 minutes this sucker went. That was the theme of the show. Every match was 15 plus.
That match went 16 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was quicker, actually. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought Tsuji actually shined a little bit more than Shota.
Yeah, well, Shota Umino is no longer fat. He's still getting in shape. But yeah, I like Yota Tsuji. He's got a ton of personality.
Umino's looking better and better. I'll give him, when he first came back, it was not looking pretty, but he's getting back to, ring shape for one, and two, being what everyone hopes he is. People toss around Ace a lot with Shota, and it's a lot to live up to. You don't just toss around future New Japan Ace if there's not something there. And this was definitely one of his best matches in Rev Pro. I haven't seen them all, but definitely one of his better ones.
I would say this is the better one.
Especially since it came back from their long slumber due to COVID.
Yeah, that's all of Europe. There's it's
Europe's in a slumber for other reasons too, though.
Well, it's basically down to Rev Pro and WXW at this point. Unfortunately.
Hey, yeah. No, I'm not defending Progress. Not happening.
No, we're not. Well,
Dragunov, though.
Progress is trying to come back with its new management that's conspicuously connected to Jeff Jarrett. So
that's not good.
I have my reservations about old Progress Wrestling and their wacky names. Gabriel Kidd defeats Francesco Akira. Look, the rising sun Italian boy. I think he's going to be in 16 Karat. I'm not sure if he's officially booked for that. He was supposed to be at a couple WXW shows, but he got injured in the meantime. But he's here now, and boy, compared to Gabriel Kidd is a fucking house now.
Yeah. Have you seen his match with Eddie Kingston from Strong?
Oh yeah, full 3. Easy.
Yeah, I love that match.
All the stars.
All the stars. Gabriel Kidd, man. I mean, he's been in the news a lot for other reasons lately, but he's so good especially since he's come back. You know, he's cleared his head. He's feeling better about himself. He's built like you said, a house. I want him in, New Japan proper soon because dude's good. I by the way, put this on record. I'd take him over Daniel Garcia. Just saying.
At this point in time, I would as well. I think Gabriel Kidd is more than ready. Garcia, he's still very young. So Gabriel Kidd, when he was still a pudgy small British guy out in like WCPW, he was kind of at that level Daniel Garcia is now, in the sense of ring awareness, ring presence, that whole idea. While Daniel Garcia is technically better, but at this point in time, Gabriel Kidd is more seasoned, better trained up. Now, Daniel Garcia, hey, PWG Bolo winner, good for him, but Gabriel Kidd is putting on matches like this against Francesco Akira, who came back from his All Japan stint. I think he won like some junior tournament or whatever. I'm wondering what the future lies for Francesco Akira, because there aren't many Italian wrestlers out there, let me tell you.
No, there's not. He's really good. One of the best juniors out there, I think, is that at least aren't signed to a major company.
Well,
I'd
usually
love him to go
usually
anywhere.
Rev Pro is a door opening for New Japan.
That'd be nice. I'd sign up for that, especially if he's willing to go to Japan. Seeing he went to AJPW, not AJP, yeah, AJPW. That would be nice, because we could get into New Japan some other day, but they need it in that junior division.
Nah, I'm only talking about New Japan Strong. That's a good show. I don't talk about the New Japan proper.
Strong's awesome. I mean, I could talk about Strong all day. Strong is great.
Will Ospreay defeats Michael Oku in 41 minutes for the British heavyweight title. By the way, this new British heavyweight title is absurdly large. It is amazing.
It is, but it's a beautiful belt. I'll give it credit for that. It is massive, but I do like the look of it.
Have you seen the epic, like, painting-esque picture of Will Ospreay looking like a British douchebag with this massive thing on his shoulder?
No, but it sounds tremendous.
He's like in an armchair. It's really fun. Here, I'm gonna send this to you right now. This is too good.
Please do.
Yeah.
But I do like the belt, even if I like massive belts, truthfully, if we're going to be honest. Like, I like big belts. Is it an improvement? I don't know. I thought the old belt was cool too. But this one just fits. It feels important. And I think with someone like Ospreay holding it, you want that. You want that feeling.
Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, here's the picture. He's got his sunglasses. He's got the aha look. He's got money.
That's a star, dude. People don't like him for outside reasons, but when it comes to pro wrestling, that's a star. That is an absolute star. What a picture,
dude! If anything, Ospreay being a douchebag and cocksucker in real life makes it better to hate him in wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. There's so few heels nowadays. We can get into
he's definitely a heel
conversation. Oh yeah, he sure is. I remember him taking out Bea Priestley. Remember that?
Yeah, he made her retire Essentially, shit. Shout out to Blair Davenport.
Yeah. Oh man, that injury is bad. So I actually feel bad right now.
Yeah, she
Tough retirement.
Takes an odds cutter and then snaps her ankle a year later. God, it just doesn't work out.
That's like how they said Kairi Sane went into retirement, and then she had that concussion from that ladder match. I was like, man, this is tough retirement.
Look, man, I wouldn't have ladder matches when I'm retired.
No, me either.
Not my thing.
I also wouldn't jump off the top rope all the way down to the floor. So,
no.
Poor Blair Davenport. But yeah, if we're going to talk about this match, I'll let you, of course, go. You're the captain here.
Yeah, so just a short and simple review since it's been reviewed to death. But Meltzer gave it 5 stars. I kind of think it's definitely up there because the story of the match focuses so much about Michael Oku, his family, and his very attractive wrestler girlfriend was ringside. And holy shit, the angles involved with the family and Ospreay bumping out of his mind for this dude, being a right dick, as he should be, because, well, everyone loves Michael Oku, and nobody wants to see Will Ospreay win. So I thought it was well-built, well-paced, and it all built up so well to that moment where there's multiple moments where Ospreay gets in the face of the girlfriend and, pushes the barricade out of the way and kind of grabs her, and the crowd starts going molten hot, frothing at the mouth at this dude. How dare you touch this woman? And Oku from out of nowhere shotgun drops kicks Ospreay, and Ospreay goes full horizontal into the guardrail and falls on the cement, and the crowd explodes in cheering. So, hey, that worked. And all while, I don't know if you caught this, the parents to the right have shit-grinning smiles on their face from ear to ear. They're just like, oh yeah, we know.
Oh man, yeah. This match, like you said, Meltzer gave it 5 stars. It's definitely up there. It's one of Ospreay's best performances, I thought. I mean, Michael Oku, a guy that's not very well known, I would say, got raised up. People know the name Michael Oku now, and all of it's due. Not all of it, because Oku had a hell of a performance here, but a lot of it's due to, them working so well together. I thought the final minutes of this match were fantastic, perfection, whatever you want to call it. Considering throwing in the towel, but that's not part of the rules that they agreed to before the match. They agreed to, there's only going to be a winner. There's no bullshit. Someone's going to get pinned, and just Ospreay hitting him nonstop once he got fed up with the hidden blades. Oh man, there's absolute brutality. It's the beauty of, you got this dick of a heel, you got this major heel, and you got the baby face that everyone wants to win, but guess what? He just doesn't have enough. If the ultimate goal is to have Oku beat him in the end, hell yeah. If it's not, sorry, Michael Oku, you're just a number.
Well, the thing about Ospreay in this promotion, actually, before I get into that, I'll finish the match thoughts here. He starts hitting him with the hidden blades over and over again, and he lifts this dude up at 1, hits him with another one, lifts it up at 2. And then the girlfriend tries to throw the towel in because Connor Mills can't, and Ospreay's like, aha, throws it back, hits him with another, pins his ass, and he's just sitting in the corner. The girl slaps his face a couple times, and he stares at the camera, and he smiles. He's like, I still won.
He's so good at being a prick.
Oh my god. All that was missing was, I don't know, a B. Priestley or someone ringside to join in on it. But that's a shame.
Yeah, just absolutely drilling the girlfriend on the side after.
he's pulling an MJF, making out with his shoot girlfriend on the apron. That's the only thing that was missing was Ospreay with some chick, just saliva, tonsil hockeying it up. Hopefully not like the Montreal Canadiens, but anyways, the joke is they'd miss.
Yeah, not very good.
So yeah, with Ospreay in this promotion, there's a few names he is like kind of taking up under his wing and trying to kind of bring up through the British scene, kind of like the same way people like Jimmy Havoc did for him in his youth. I know people don't want to talk about Jimmy Havoc, but Jimmy Havoc used to be a big deal in the British scene, and it was because of his matches with Will Ospreay that kind of started to get Will Ospreay on the map. And that can't be ignored in the history sense. So Ospreay, kind of in that same mentality, is taking up guys like Michael Oku, Ricky Knight Jr., and a couple other guys through Rev Pro and booking. And one of these guys is going to beat him eventually. And is it going to be Michael Oku? Maybe. Could it be Ricky Knight Jr.? Could be. Could it be someone else? Sure. The point is, he's built up like 3, 4, 5 guys that can all do this and become the next huge babyface to kind of take this promotion into a next level and main event in Ospreay's absence. Which there's not a lot of promotions that can say that. Not a lot of promotions kind of set themselves up to have this big star that can come in on occasion and do things like this. So when Ospreay's not there, they're Rev Pro gets all the credit in the world. They are building up these guys to face Ospreay or someone of his merit. I know there isn't a lot at the level of Ospreay. You get the idea of what I'm going with. They're doing something similar with Aussie Open being the tag champs and putting guys over and being involved. They've really built themselves up a nice, strong core group, and they're capitalizing on it. So they get full credit from me and points. And this match was a great example for it. If you're invested in Rev Pro, it's this kind of match is why you watch this promotion. I just wish the audio didn't sound like it was from 2004 and a muffled audio, and the cameras were ass. But I guess they'll never change.
I think the idea of them building up is it's a great point as to why I think New Japan works so well with Rev Pro, because they know they're going to take care of the talent they send over there as well, right. As we're seeing with Shota, as we're seeing with Tsuji. And I know Gabriel Kidd's been heading over there now. He's actually Ospreay's next challenger, which is exciting.
Hell yeah. I am so ready for that.
But that's the whole idea, is they trust Rev Pro to build these people. And, Rev Pro, everyone in the European scene has to build these guys up now, because a lot happened over the past couple of years that I think everyone knows. So you have to build these newer guys up so that they can take on, maybe Ospreay loses the title to a New Japan talent. You never know, because that's just how the Rev Pro title sometimes works. You never know on that. But there'll be someone there waiting, a Michael Oku, the best example, of course, especially after this match.
Well, the good thing is Ospreay is kind of above the title at this point in time. So as long as he shows back up in some form of fashion, there's going to be someone that's going to beat him. And it doesn't need to be for the title. It's physically Ospreay at this point, which is good. It's good to be in that position. Unfortunately, fortunately for Rev Pro, they have the New Japan connection, WXW. They don't really have that connection. They have to rely on recruiting from places like Hungary to get wrestlers, and maybe getting something from Denmark going. They got a different challenge ahead of them.
They brought over Becca, didn't they, for the tournament?
I don't know if she was, her and Ava Everett were able to get to that taping, but Becca messed up herself in Spain wrestling. Ooh. I think for White Wolf Wrestling. It could be. I hope I got the promotion right.
Interesting.
Yeah,
because I saw her. I was kind of shocked when I saw her headed over there. I didn't know if.
I was making jokes about it. It's exactly she just shows up in the promotions I watch. I'm annoyed. Anyways. Joshi talk time, eh?
Twist my arm.
Twist your arm. Okay. I guess I gotta play. Let's see. Where's my wave music? I'm gonna do a throwback for some Kana music here. All right. I don't think fans have heard that one too often. Time to talk some Joshi. And I got some wacky things that I want to clown on. You ready to clown on some Joshi?
I guess. Depends what we're clowning on.
Oz Academy's on this list.
All right, that's fine.
Tokyo Joshi Pro's on this list.
They probably deserve it.
Okay. I'm not going to clown on Ice Ribbon. But I will clown on some Wave right now. I haven't seen...
No, Ice Ribbon got points from me this week with the YouTube thing.
Well, okay. So, for those that don't know, Ice Ribbon is launching a YouTube subscription service, and they're uploading dojo shows, and pretty soon they'll upload the Winter Story show, which we'll get into at least a couple matches here in a little bit. The hesitation I have with this is these Joshi companies have... other Joshi companies have done something like this before. The first month or two, they'll upload 12 shows, and then they just stop uploading. Essentially, I've seen it time and time again, so I'm very hesitant. Essentially, I need to be proven that they're going to be committed to this as an actual service and not just kind of give up and you just waste your money for a few months.
That's fair. I'm doing the same thing. I haven't actually subscribed to it yet. I'm going to wait and see how they deliver first. So I'm with you, as in gotta be careful with these things.
Yeah, there's a lot of services out there. So, okay. So Wave, they did have their big title match. Won't talk about that until I see it. I want to see it for myself and then have my thoughts. By the way, JPQ, you owe me beer. Over there at Just Joshi. I won that bet. But, Scotty, you remember a certain prominence group showed up in Stardom.
It would be difficult for me to forget. I'm still waiting for something to come from it.
Well, they're building up to a tag match at a Korakuen Hall show later this month. We'll get into a little Stardom there. But the point is, prominence is also showing up in other promotions. A certain Glee.
Your Ice Ribbon folks showed up there, too.
Yeah. Oh, God. Ugh. But shortly after the Prominence's big Stardom debut and made magazines and got a lot of buzz and finally started gaining some traction, they showed up in Wave shortly after this and were booked in a main event. And the matches prior, Ayami Sasamura defeats Chiyozuru, which was fine, 7 minutes. Takumi Iroha defeated Riku Kawahara in just about 12. I really like that match. I think it's Iroha's best match of the year so far, personally.
She doesn't have many, to be fair.
She does not have many. I think it's 3. Luminous and Saki defeated Itsuki Aoki, Nozaki, and Yumi Oka. This essentially served as the Nozaki Takase primer. This one went 23, and this was very enjoyable. This one I do recommend. I gave it, I think I gave it 2. Nah, I probably gave it 1 out of 3 star because it was a primer. I wanted to see a little bit more energy from the other wrestlers involved because when Nozaki and Takase were in the ring, they were going at each other hard. And then it built up to Yumi Oka and Saki. So it also had a side story of the tag titles going on the line at the Valentine's Day show that will probably be covered on the next episode. There was a lot of things to like in this match. Did you happen to see this one?
I did. I loved what Nozaki and Takase did. It got me excited for their championship match. And I'm definitely with you about everything else. Was oh, well. You could have gave me a little bit more, but I was too focused on these two that it didn't affect me too much watching the match. Because Takase is great, and Nagisa Nozaki, you guys talked about it on, was it the Joshi pod, the draft? You guys really highlighted. She doesn't do a lot of moves, but the moves she does do, she does them well.
That's right. That was me. I drafted her.
There we go.
And then the main event happened, and I'm like, okay, we got Yuki Miyazaki, Sakura Hoda, and Hibiscus May. I don't understand Hibiscus May. She doesn't do anything for me. She's in the main event. Okay, we're facing Prominence, coming hot off the Stardom. Now, Scotty, if you were a promotion, let's play armchair booker here. No, it's a fun thing to do sometimes. But if you were booking Prominence hot off of Stardom, and you're gonna book him in the main event of your show, what would you not do?
I would not do comedy. That's what I would not do, JD.
See where I was going? Okay.
I know exactly where you were going.
This match was 16 minutes of comedy. Hibiscus May, Hirota, and Yuki Miyazaki came out like Dragon Ball demons, I guess, from the demon world or the afterlife world. I think that's what they were dressed as. And it was just comedy for 16 minutes. And this served absolutely no purpose. And I think it actually hurt what Prominence is going to be in this promotion. I spoke with Alex on the previous podcast about, colors coming into the promotion. And we were kind of questioning why colors were having their kind of top two people, Saki and Hikaru Shimizu, dropping falls early in the show. And here comes Prominence, and it's just nothing. I think this was a super missed opportunity, but this is what Wave does these days. They would rather have this comedy, good show feel. We're going to draw 100 people to Shinkiba first ring. And I think that hurts the prospect of trying to get some energy into the promotion. And look, you want to have your comedy, do it in the undercard. I don't got a problem with that, but you keep it out of your main events. Mm-hmm. That's my thoughts. Funny don't equal money. I'm a very proponent of that. I'm not saying funny can't equal all the money. It can be some, but not in your main events. I think it's pretty much a proven commodity that it doesn't work.
I'm with you 100%. Who were the Prominence members in this match? Risa Sera and who?
Mochi Miyagi and Akane Fujita. So luckily they kept Suzu out of this nonsense.
Yeah. That's about all that I cared about once you kind of explained all that. I did not watch this because I knew exactly what it was. That's the whole thing. I watch these shows. I watch Wave shows, but it's very rare I watch the comedy matches because, truth be told, I have better time. Yeah. I need to use my time in different matches, different places, and I agree. If you want to do comedy, keep it in your undercard. Don't do it in your main event. You had a main event outpost match of sorts to build up your main event for your big show at Korakuen Hall, and you didn't even have a main event this show. That's just, I don't know. For me, that's easy booking. You put that match instead of the main event. Keep it hot, get it hot. Not this comedy stuff with Prominence of all groups that just appeared in Stardom, and they're hot. People want to see what they're doing, and that's what you do.
Yeah, and the other thing is I like what you said about you had your primer that should have been the main event, and what you set a precedence to your audience is your title matches are less important than what you're putting on with this comedy stuff. And not to kind of say a whole lot of spoiler over what we saw at the Korakuen show from Wave, but they didn't draw too well. It was still okay in kind of a comparative sense to the scene in terms of like Ice Ribbon, and I guess they're the only other ones that have run Korakuen outside of TJPW and Stardom, but they're still down year over year compared to their past few Korakuens, and there's a reason for that. And it's doing things like this. I'm very disappointed, and I know that's just the way Wave operates, but I can still be critical. And anyways,
that's the job.
Well, it's just the way I think. I need and want and expect more out of wrestling. And when you cover the Joshi scene, there's certain things, at least in my mind, that things get frustrating. And speaking of frustrating, on to Oz Academy. I'm not going to spend too long on Oz Academy. I'm just going to kind of go over the not booking of this and laugh at it because it's very funny to me. So they had a show on February 6th. Are you familiar with the team of Momoko Hanazono and Meisuruga?
Yeah, I started to watch this match and I shut it off.
So, are you aware that both Meisuruga and Momoko have not won a single match in Oz Academy?
Yep. And I like Mesaruga.
I do as well. Kind of strange that they would get a tag title shot and be in the main event of a show.
Yeah, the map doesn't add up on that one.
It's also kind of strange that they have this goofy childlike comedy gimmick that I got in their. They got stomped, basically. Okay.
Yeah.
Mayukihi is their champion, in case you forgot.
She's great.
Yeah.
I'll give her that credit. I forgot. I'm not gonna lie. I saw a picture of her the other day with it. That's how I got reminded, because she took like a selfie with it. I was like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot you existed completely. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's not just the belt. I forgot you were doing anything. So yeah, that's sad.
So they turned around a week later, and they built the show around a main event where it was an open weight #1 contendership, last woman standing 8-man tag team match. They've done this kind of match before, but holy hell, it's a mess. Let me describe this in case it's not clear, because it's ridiculous. What it is, it's a 4v4 match, okay? And it's elimination style. And when it comes down to the last 2 or 3 or whatever, basically when the winning team, whoever is left over from the winning team, goes to a... They keep doing the elimination, and then when it's down to the last 2, it's last man standing. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So it's Hiroyo Matsumoto, Akino, Itsuki Aoki, and Kaori Oniyama, who looks like a mouse, by the way. Like, she had the face paint of like a mouse, and yeah, she's perfect for your main event. I think Death Yama-san or Gokuken Death would function better. Anyways, Ozaki-gun is also there, including Yumioka Saoriano, Mayumi Ozaki, and Mayuki, the champion, competing for her own #1 contendership. Love this.
Oh, Jesus.
3 minutes in, Mayuki gets pinned by Itsuki Aoki.
Oh my God. Okay.
This match went 42 minutes.
Why? Should have went like 10.
Oh, I watched this whole thing and I was just in awe of what happened just from a booking standpoint. This is hysterical. So your champion's out in 3 minutes, makes her look great. I know Police came in and bashed her, but it's bumbling heel stuff. Not a good look for Maya. Not being in any sort of main events throughout the year since she's won the title. And anyways, so Aoki pins Maya. Kaori Oniyama pins Yumioka. So now we got the heels, Seki-gun, Ozaki-gun, fighting from behind. It's like an NXT War Games match. So the valiant Ozaki-gun heels are trying to fight back to these dastardly advantage faces as Saoriano pins like 2 straight people, and then Akino pins Ano like shortly after that, and then we're down to the valiant Mayumi Ozaki, because of course we are. She's fighting back 2-on-1. She's got to get her special cousin Police to come in to help her, because we got the old woman fighting against 2 young tucks, well, at least one, Hiroyo, and Akino, who's 48 years old at this point. And let me tell you, Scotty, she was exhausted. She was hurting. She was limping. I like Akino. This was rough to watch at times. And after Ozaki gets pinned, it's down to Hiroyo and Akino, and they go like another 20 minutes of just exhaust wrestling. Not great. So Akino pins Hiroyo with like 5 straight buzzsaw kicks.
Oh my God. What is wrong with... I'm not even... You know what? I'm not even going to ask. I already know the answer. I'm not even going to ask.
It's Oz Academy. This is just what you get. It just doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. And honestly, if you even look at the booking, I thought this match was just bad on top of it all. Do not recommend.
Yeah, if the match is bad and you watch 41 minutes of it, that's just a tough pill to swallow.
I am a bit of a masochist, I think. I think that's proven at this point, maybe?
I could go... Well, that's fair.
Okay. Let's talk about a couple fun things here. Ice Ribbon, Winter Story. It finally aired. The show took place on June 16th, finally aired on February 5th. It's Korakuen Hall, and one of my big questions going into this, Scotty, was how many people are going to show up to this thing? Because they had a big exodus. Mayuki's gone. Their entire mid-card and a couple main eventers are gone. They've lost a lot of people over the last year. It's not just these 8 people that have left, including Tekla. You got to remember there was a couple of retirements last year as well as the departures of Julia and Takiya Saya prior to that. This roster's been hit quite hard the last couple of years. And yes, there's been a few rookies that have come up and debuted, and Asahi's has come back. That's all well and good, but they need. The big question here was, what is the new blood going to be able to do for the promotion? And one of the theories that Kay and I had was, well, it's going to be finally fresh talent being pushed at the top to compete with your new ace, Tsukushi, whom is taking the reins as the main eventer. It's not Tsukasa for once. And throughout the history of Ice Ribbon, this bodes well, surprisingly enough. Even during the last Exodus, yes, attendance did initially go down, but it quickly rose up. And the other thing was the death matches did not get good reviews from what I could tell and read from the domestic audience. And so the theory was, now that they're gone, are the fans going to start coming back? And, well, I was thinking like 300 people were going to show up to this thing, and they actually got 389. Almost 400. It's slightly higher than what they were able to do at Winter Story last year with the Tsukasa Fujimoto Suzu main event. So I consider this a successful push. Would you agree, Scotty?
Yeah, I think a successful push is definitely the best way to name it, if you want to give it a name. Ice Ribbon. You're a big fan of Ice Ribbon. You're, the leading podcast in talking about Ice Ribbon. I'll give you all that credit all day long. I want every promotion to do well. That is my number one thing. And I know you do too. That's why you look at wrestling the way you do. You look at these numbers. And this is a great number to hear. Because the look at Ice Ribbon at the end of 2021, it was scary. It was scary. You and JPQ really went into details about it on Just Joshi. Nice little plug for JPQ. You're welcome. And you, I guess, because you were on it. But
it was on
really, you
tag
guys,
teaming with Alex from the Stardom Quest podcast.
Yeah, he doesn't need the plug. Anyways, it was a really good number. And when I walked away from the show, I thought, okay, there's building blocks here, and they did it. They're building correctly. Tsukushi fits that main event like a glove, as we all kind of expected, and now she's able to bring people up. I thought, and I guess we'll get into some of the card, but when you have a main event like that, and you had people that were actually there to see it, I think that is a good sign that people are going to keep coming back. That's what I look at. Did the main event deliver when people were there in the building? Yes. All right, they're going to keep coming back because that means the title reign is working.
Yeah, and it was announced that Maiko Ozaki is going to be the next challenger. Kind of expected. She lost the Triangle Ribbon title in the semi-main, but it's a case of losing up, which is fine. The Triangle Ribbon title is... It's not the total serious title. It's kind of its own kayfabe universe within Ice Ribbon. Can't help but notice that Akane Fujita and her Fantastize title has not made an appearance in Ice Ribbon since Ribbon Mania. I had a theory that was just going to kind of disappear and maybe be a prominence thing. That the title was specifically made for Risa Sera, and it's probably her thing. So I could totally see that just kind of sticking with them. Maybe it comes in as a special attraction thing, but who knows? I do want to bring up you definitely noticing some recruitment efforts coming from Tsukasa and Tsukushi, hence the GLEAT appearance, and getting some JTO rookies. to show up at some shows for Ice Ribbon. So they're bringing in a lot of like young, fresh talent to kind of build up and bring up, which is a good move. Natsumi is a regular in Ice Ribbon now.
Did you see their upcoming card?
I haven't taken a peek at it. Are we talking about
Maria's on it.
Is that the Korakuen show later this month?
I think so. Yeah, it was later this month. But I saw Maria on it, and I was like, oh, that's hype.
Good. I hope she's doing something other than a like 3-way tag, first from the bottom or something.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But now Ishikawa's back. She's looking good. Yuki Mashiro's getting a lot of shine. They treat her interestingly enough. And Asahi, I'd like to start seeing Asahi and Kaho Matsushita kind of higher up the card in more important things. But regardless, the big takeaway here was the Makoto Tsukasa Fujimoto match, which was a strong 15-minute time limit draw. And my takeaway, Scotty, actually, I want to hear your thoughts first, if you even watched it.
I did watch it. I usually go out of my way to watch whatever Fujimoto does, truthfully. I thought Makoto looked really good, which, you know, me and Alex have a joke where she only usually looks good in Seedling, so it was nice to see her look pretty good here. And I mean, the opponent worked. I thought it was a good 15-minute draw. A little shocked about the draw, I won't lie. But I guess it's a way to build Makoto if she's going to keep coming in. But I enjoyed the match.
Yeah, I thought Makoto looked exceptionally strong in this match. It's the best she's looked, especially from a singles perspective, in quite some time. She looks like she's put on a good amount of weight, as in she looks like she's worked out and toned herself into a strong build of a body. And it really shows in her matches. It really shows in her health inside the ring, because she's been at it for 10 plus years at this point, and coming in to Ice Ribbon, and she's going to be a regular featured act here in Ice Ribbon. I do agree with the draw in the sense that you don't want to beat Fujimoto outright. Remember, there isn't a lot of main event caliber talent in the Ice Ribbon universe here. So you would burn through it to me too fast if Makoto comes in, beats Fujimoto, and then a month or two later down the line, Makoto just faces Sakushi and presumably loses. Okay? To me, someone like Makoto in the Ice Ribbon world, a former champion, by the way, she has the history in the promotion. To me, this is the perfect person to probably take the belt off of Sakushi. Come in, draw with Tsukasa Fujimoto, down the line at a bigger show, preferably March, their March ribbon or Summer Jumbo ribbon, one of these shows. You can main event Makoto Tsukasa Fujimoto 2, and Makoto beats her clean. Will that happen? I don't know. I'm armchair booking here, but this is kind of the story feel that I get out of this. And then you set up a Makoto Sakushi match at their biggest show of the year in August at Yokohama, and that's where you can change the title. You can get it off Sakushi. You can now build up another chase for Sakushi to get this title back, because there's so much of this young talent that simply, to me, you don't have a Suzuki there that can be ready in 6 to 9 months. A lot of this talent's going to take at least a year to kind of build up to be credible in the main event, even a semi-main event. Remember, their entire mid-card's gone. So they got to build these people up from scratch, essentially, over the next year. It's not gonna come overnight. Maybe Asahi can get there by the end of the year, and you can get her a good Ribbon Mania match, but she's not winning the title. So to me, the perfect storyline going is someone like Makoto with the history, beats Fujimoto clean, goes on, beats Sakushi for the title, and then Sakushi chases and beats her, and you have a lot of defenses for your young talent to get their main event chances in, and you have a good elevator going through. What do you think, Scotty? You in on that?
I like it. I like it a lot, and I think it's a smart way to build it up, because, you make the point that you don't have the young talent ready yet. I think Ibuki Hoshi's getting closer and closer, specifically, based off this show alone. We've seen her now have 2 title matches in the past year or so, right. And she looked great in both of them. Is she ready to be that person, though, to take it off Sakushi? No. So I think that is a great pitch, and that way you have booking for that top belt for, I don't know, another year or so almost. The way you kind of pitched it out. I like the way you're looking at that, and as long as they keep building up that talent, which they clearly will, they have no other choice. They have to. I think it's a good plan, and I like it better than the one that you talked about with Saki on. Was that just Joshi? Yeah, I think so.
Well, the Saki thing still comes into play for building her up for a good defense, not Saki winning the title. That still can happen, right. And that's still and that could work with Makoto if she wins the title as well. You could do that twice, actually.
That's true. That is a good point.
Yeah, where Ibuki stands, I do think she's main event capable right now. She's like one of one person. But for someone that's homegrown, she's still in school. She's going to be starting school in the spring again. I have too many questions around her, if like how full time she will be, and I'm more feeling 2023 at the earliest with Ibuki, even if she's ready or not.
Yeah, the school thing really bites you.
Yeah, it wasn't until Starlight Kid was done with school where she finally just took off. It was
That's true.
Right at the same time.
I will not compare anyone to Starlight Kid because that's a little unfair, but I see what you're saying. Man, it's so tough with these young talents because of things like school. But she's definitely at the main event level. You can plug her in there and she will deliver. She's probably year and a half away from maybe being in like full contention for that title and actually winning. Probably, I don't know how old she is off the top of my head, but she's still in school. So
I think she's 19.
All right. Well, yeah, I think a year and a half is fair.
Let me see. What does Cage Match say? Cage Match says 18. It's even younger.
Okay, well, we'll push more till a year and a half, but I've liked a lot of what I've seen of her, and I know you're high on Asahi, so yeah, I like the Makoto idea. You can always bring other talents in as well.
Sure, it doesn't necessarily have to be Makoto, but this draw kind of sets up a good future immediately right there. Fujimoto needs to drop some falls in 2022 here.
Yeah, that's what you think.
Yeah, that is what I think.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah, there's some theories around the old Tsukasa Fujimoto these days.
Yeah, well, I tossed you that funny conversation in the Discord the other day. I was like,
it's like funny. It's like funny. Scotty mentions this that has been there's been a rumor going around. Okay, Tsukushi Ibuki. Whole match was built around Tsukushi avoiding the chop. They kind of stiffed the shit out of each other. Look, it was barely over 15 minutes. I thought it was a strong match. I don't think it's going to make a match of the year list or anything. Maybe in the Ice Ribbon universe, depending on how capable Tsukushi's defenses are going to be, her opponents. Mike Ozaki doesn't light my world on fire, but that's kind of all they got right now. But I still went 2 out of 3 recommendation. It's something worth checking out. I feel like they have a better match in them. Like this didn't have the energy that the Tsukasa Ibuki match had last year, where it was where it even had the drama of Tsukasa's shirt getting ripped off to expose her chest a little bit more to get chopped more.
Oh yeah, that was a great match.
That's tough to replicate. I'm not gonna lie, but Tsukushi was all about just elbowing the crap out of this child, and it's like, okay, let's calm down. It's a good thing she's 18.
Well, hey, never forget that Shuri beat down Ruaka in the in that tag league.
She did. Did forget about that.
It doesn't matter.
Former UFC fighter, teenager, I gotta break her in. It's like, oh no. The only thing better would have been if Tsukushi just bent down after the match and said, "Give me your lunch money" to Ibuki after this beating.
Would have fit. It would have fit. Oh man.
Did you like this match? I assume you did.
Yeah, I did. I thought Hoshi looked really good. Second big match that I've seen her in again over the past year, 6 months or so. And anytime you can live up to that point, especially when Ice Ribbon needs you to, full applause. Now, was it as good as the Suzuki defense that Sakushi had? No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Still a very good match. Definitely better than was it Ram? Did she fight Ram? Is that who she fought?
Sakushi, yeah, she fought Ramkai.
Yeah. I thought it was better than that match.
That's not hard to do.
I am not going to say anything, but yeah.
Well, the good news for Ibuki is coming after this loss, she's still tag champions with her mom, the Ham. So that'll keep her busy for a little while. What I'd like to see is if they're not going to have a tag title defense on whether it's these Korakuen shows or some more high profile shows that they're running this year, I would like to see Ibuki in singles matches, like special singles matches. I was going over this on the Joshi 2010's journey over the latest JWP show that I covered, and it shows people like Hanako Nakamori getting a special singles match on some of these shows. She's 22 years old at the time, and it's those kind of matches that keep you keep your talent that you want pushed up the card interesting and fresh. So I'm going to keep my eye on Ibuki and even Asahi to an extent. I hope they kind of keep treating her with a little bit more potential. Same thing with Naoi Ishikawa, but she's got injury issues. No tag title, let's get her a special singles match. And it could be against like Maiko Ozaki or Ram Kaicho. I don't ask for like high talent, just a singles match where she gets a win in front of the audience's eyes.
Yeah, you're not asking for the one-off that Sakushi had with like Nanai. You're just asking for, give her singles matches.
No, I'm not asking for Ibuki to face someone she's going to lose to.
If it helps, JD, there's always a chance that you can get Sakushi versus Nanai again. I'm just saying.
Is Nanai going to lose in 9 minutes?
I will not confirm nor deny because you never know.
I don't.
Listen. I lived through her beating Momo last year. You can live through whatever happens.
I'm still very salty about that. No matter what Kay says, I think it hurts everything that happened after in terms of Sakushi and her title reign. But anyways, I guess in kayfabe it would make sense, and they go to blows and Sakushi wins. That's fine. I guess I'd be for that. TJPW, Positive Chain. They're on the road to Sumo Hall.
That comment did not sound very positive. You're like, TJPW, Positive Chain. What a shame.
I liked the show. However, I spoke with Alex about this, and the way, because maybe you feel the same, or you know where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
The way Stardom works, the house shows, the way it's all filled with energy, everyone feels credible. The cards seem constantly changing up and down. Things are moving in the promotion. We'll get into kind of a couple booking things that it's just like one after another. And then when I watch TJPW, things are very slow. The matches are very slow. They don't work I know it's not a work rate promotion, but there's still a sense of energy and sprinting and running the ropes that I feel that all these other Joshi promotions are now catching up to Stardom, or they're trying and not quite reaching that level. Now Stardom, I think, has a much higher level, but that's as a viewer, when I'm going to these other promotions now, they're behind, and it feels that way to me. How do you get where I'm coming from?
They lack intensity. I think that's a good way to say it. That's a good
word. I like that one.
Yeah, because Stardom house shows, I love talking Stardom house shows specifically because they are the house show in wrestling. That is the one you watch. You're going to get at least one really good match, at the very least. And it's because you have an entire roster, one, that's ready to go, but two, that's interchangeable at all times. You have people losing, or you have the magic of the draw, but they still go hard because they're trying to they're trying to build each other up. I think that goes far too. And when you have different people winning, you have people just giving good matches, you're like, okay, I can get behind these people. In TJPW, the whole thing is getting behind people. But it's hard to get behind people when all they do is lose. It really is. And I think that's going to always be TJPW's problem for me, is that I think, I know you're a bigger fan of Suzume. No, she's not winning. She's not winning. Come on now. She's not winning anytime soon. That's not happening. Miyu Watanabe, she's not winning singles. I mean, I'm happy, she's in a tag right now. It's something, but that's what it goes back to. I can watch a Stardom show and I can watch Unagi Sayaka win a match. Like, that's the perfect example because she came from TJPW. Is she, the work rate machine like a Mayu Iwatani? No. Is she the storyteller like Tam Nakano? No. But she has her own story and she wins. You can get behind her. You can believe her. When I watch a Suzume match against Yuki Arai, I can't even believe her in that match. And Yuki Arai hasn't wrestled a year.
It's funny you mentioned Unagi. When I got into watching TJPW full time and Unagi came back from her injury, I was like, she's awesome. I love her. She's got a ton of potential. I can't wait to watch her. I'm going to watch her go up the card. She lost every match until she left the promotion.
Yeah, and now look at her. She's going right up the card. You were right. Just took a, entirely different company.
Exactly. It took her going to start, and everyone goes, she's terrible, everything, and she's had like a title match in every month she's been in there, and she's the gatekeeper of Stardom. Who saw?
And I mean, the same can be said from Arai too. We saw it in 1 month.
Same deal. She was an undercarder that was given, I think, one main event. She only beat her highest profile win in TJPW was against Kamiyu, who's a mid-carder.
And bad.
And well, she's not great. She's good in her own way. Now we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that match way. I didn't. Anyways, but yeah, you're right. And it's very frustrating to be a fan of TJPW and kind of their operation. And I have 100% gotten to the point of accepting that no one's ever going to move up. And I just can't. I just watch, and my investment level is at an all-time low. So I'm just watching things in a vacuum. So when I watch Yuki Arai and Suzume have the default number one contenders international title match, and then I have commentary, no shit, describing their one win apiece ever as these big victories to go up the card, and I'm like, bro. And both their victories are against Moka Miyamoto, who won in the opener to Arisu Endo. So
that sentence hurts, by the way. That sentence hurts. Arisu Endo is very good. Moka Miyamoto is...
she's getting better.
She is. She was pretty decent in the tag tournament. I'll give her that.
She's getting better. But I thought the Yuki Arai Suzume match was fine. I didn't have much of a problem with it. I totally understand the booking. You want the idol versus idol for Sumo Hall. Yuki Arai is very popular. Sure would have been nice to her to have some wins before this one, though.
That's true. But I will say, brilliant booking. You got this star that is getting voted as the highest, most popular wrestler, and you have your biggest show ever. Probably should put her in a feature match. It's just common sense booking at that point. Now, yeah, it would have been nice if you built her up a little more, but whatever. I won't complain.
Yeah.
I won't complain.
I'll point to that Rika Tatsumi match where she was like 45 seconds from a time limit draw, and then she taps out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll point to that.
I enjoyed that match, though.
I did too, until she tapped out. And I was like, oh, she's a loser. Okay, cool. She gave up.
Yeah, and then Yuka Sakazaki murked her.
Yeah, she did. She sure did. Let's see. Neo Bishiki-gun in a comedy match. Skip. Magi Rabi and Shoko in a primer for Miyu and Shoko. Fine. It was enjoyable. I'm annoyed by Marika Kobashi doing everything as light as possible. That wasn't cool to see. By the way,
we're on the way out.
By the way, I forgot to talk about this. Oh, she's got 1 foot out the door, baby.
Mm-hmm.
On the women's show I went to, the WWR show, there's a wrestler by the name of Kennedy Copeland. She's got a good crowd connection. She's like grunge teenage angst girl. Nice little gimmick. Scotty, I'm watching her do these chest kicks, and as somewhat of a Joshi watcher you would have been sitting right there next to me, and you should have been. Should have skipped work that day. And watch her kicking Mr. Eel O'Neill in the chest. And when I say kick, I mean not kicking. She's making the motion of a kick and not coming in contact with the chest.
Oh, no.
And he's selling it. And I was trying to see his eyes, and he's like looking at her up, like, what are you doing, girl? She wasn't kicking him at all.
That's so bad.
That was Marika Kobashi in this match with those leg drops.
JD, I don't know if you know this about me, but when I like wrestlers, most of them just, they happen to kick really hard, and that would probably have broken me. I'm not gonna lie. I would have probably watched that and been like, oh, okay, so I know who went to the school of Miz for learning how to kick. Awesome, just awesome. I bet you didn't think I was going to talk about the Miz today, but here we are.
Maki Ito defeats Yuki Kamifuku in the look. The pre-match like press conference thing was very, very funny, where Kamiyu says she's the coolest in the world, and Maki Ito just goes, "I'll piss on you." Just go fuck off.
See that threat would have made me run away.
Shit was great. Look, it was 11 and a half minutes. What can you say? They tried their best. It was fine. I really could have done without the stupid "I called your mom on the cell phone" spot.
Me too.
You do that at a house show. Don't do that at Cork and all. Like, come on.
Yeah, because I honestly thought the match was solid up until that point. Like, it wasn't great or anything, but I thought it was working pretty well for a Kamifuku match. And then they did that, and I was like, oh, well, you lost me. You had me, and I was giving you credit, and then you do this like comedy thing in the middle of a title match. No, just don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, I'm happy that we got the Kamifuku match out of the way. Like, that was my big takeaway afterwards. I was like, all right, I don't have to watch this again. That's okay. Defense for Maki against a former champion. So I try to take the bright spots out of it.
Yeah, that's a bright spot. I don't think when they were going through the tag tournament and I saw that Kamiyu line up with 1 to Million, I was like, Kamiyu's going to pin Maki Ito. And when you see things like that in booking, it's a telltale sign that that's where the promotion truly sees somebody. And I spoke about this last time, where you don't see like Miyu dropping a fall in a tag match. You don't see that. You don't see Yuka dropping a fall in a tag. Maki Ito, no problem. It was it was an easy decision for them, and then it just set up the Kamiyu match, and here we are. It's done and over with, and there's different ways to get out of it, obviously, and they chose to go that route. It's unfortunate. Is Maki Ito going to be the one to beat Miyu? It sure doesn't look like it.
I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm not doing that to myself.
Sure looks like Shoko, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I don't want that to happen, JD. I'm going to be honest. I know I'm not on here to preview that show, but I'm telling you, that is not what I want.
And then the main event. Look, kind of saw this coming too. Daydream wins. Bakuratsu Sisters match was fine. It was 20 minutes. I had a hard time getting into it. There was something about Tenma and the Rika combination there that wasn't working for me. Maybe I was just kind of out of it at that point. I just couldn't get into the tournament. I think that I only gave one match 2 stars out of 3, which isn't saying much. But look, Daydream wins. They're set up for the tag titles against Magi Rabi. I don't think that match has happened in 2 years or so. I don't think it's happened for the tag titles, so at least you would think it did, considering they were both champions for so long. Mm-hmm. So at least it's a big tag title match, but from my perspective, I'm kind of over both the teams, and I'd rather see someone like Miyu and Rika like competing for a main event spot. I'd rather see Mizuki with the title. I'd rather see Yuka and Shoko kind of doing rivalry things. It's the booking of the promotion is not my favorite right now, is what I'm trying to go with.
Yeah, I mean, the right team won. I want to put that.
Yeah, I think
first
so
and
as well.
foremost.
Yeah.
The right team won. You have a big match for Sumo Hall with 4 of your, I guess, bigger wrestlers on the card. Miyu's not in probably that conversation yet, but
No.
maybe someday, maybe in 3 years. But
maybe.
But
she's still going to be there.
Truthfully, I wish Rika Tatsumi was, getting her rematch for the title at the show against Miyu, or Miyu Watanabe was challenging Maki, or just something. I'm in agreement with you. I mean, I don't need Yuka Sakazaki contending for the title right now because TJPW has done that for long enough. So we instead have Shoko Nakajima. So same difference. But
kind of is, yeah.
It's just, yeah, I'm with you. It's just, it's hard to fully invest. Like, I love Maki Ito. That's pretty much the main reason I watch now. And, she has the match with Yuki Arai, so I'll go into that thinking, okay, maybe she can bring the best out of Yuki Arai because she is better at bringing the best out of people than a lot of the roster, but it's really hard to get behind because
I think they're going to do a sing-off in the match.
Okay, awesome, great, thanks for that. Appreciate it. Just what I needed to hear.
It's gonna be fourth. It's gonna be fourth from the top, and they're gonna sing in it.
I don't know how you don't see the popularity in Maki Ito, right? And think, you know what? She should probably just beat Yamashita at our biggest pay-per-view, or at Cyber Festival, or at one of these 2 shows. I just don't get it. I just don't get it, and I'm never going to get it, and that's fine.
Well, the big announcement on the show was a video screen playing Hikari Noa is going to face Hikaru Shida at Grand Princess. That's cool. I question why Hikaru Shida just wasn't scheduled to come out and do that, but hey.
Yeah, she's there, so that's why I was confused. I'm like, she's in Japan. What was it really that hard to be like, hey, can you show up? Thanks.
I got my cat rubbing his face against the microphone stand. Get out of here.
But cool. Cool that Hikaru Shida's there. Big match for Hikari Noa. So that's a bright spot, even though Hikari Noa's losing. You gotta know that's happening.
It's funny how I mentioned special singles match and don't book your person to lose, essentially.
Yeah, to be fair, I guess with Shida, it's like, if you're gonna get Shida on the show, she's probably gonna win. So I guess Nanai's different, okay? Nanai's different. She can lose. I
don't know. I'd get a high-end tag match with Shida, like teams with Hikari Noa, and faces. And faces. I don't know, 2 other opponents. Let's get Venny on that card in that match, and you have a big high-profile tag, and Hikari Noa gets the big win. That would get her. That would get her 2 over, I guess. I don't know.
If there was a shot that these 2 were gonna have a rematch, then it would be cool. But that's just not happening. So,
fuck it. 20-minute draw. Do it. Hikari Noa and Shida.
Yeah, not a chance. Not a chance. They don't get it.
Throw some balls and say, Shida, we won't beat you, and AEW doesn't have to know.
Well, I mean, Hikaru Shida. AEW probably doesn't care. Let's be honest. They probably don't care. It's the women. No offense to them. But if Hikaru Shida lost on the show, I bet Tony Khan would have no idea.
Would he ever find out? Maybe. I'm sure tons of people would tweet at him or some shit. He takes Twitter seriously.
That's true.
All right, let's blast through. I'm not going to play a Stardom drop. Let's just blast through Stardom here. They got a New Blood Rising show coming, featuring rooks from other promotions. The recruitment show's coming, Scotty. Who needs a dojo when the whole scene is your dojo?
This is our chance to get Inaba in Stardom. So I'm not gonna say anything about it.
The only 2 people I'm thinking of is Chan Yoda and the 7-year rookie Miko Iwata. Let's get them in.
Yeah, I would laugh out loud if they announced Iwata.
in the New Blood show. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be the funniest thing ever. When is the show soon, isn't it? And they just haven't announced anything. The tickets are on sale.
Yeah, I forget. I forget. Yeah, it's right around the corner. I think it's like at the beginning of March. I think it's in a couple weeks.
I will look. I'll let you go. I'll go find it.
It's not important. What's important is the fact that they're doing this, and there's rumors of a person debuting out of the dojo here pretty soon. That's probably going to be your debut show, maybe. That's what I'm thinking. Could come later.
Lady C has a chance to win. That's what I'm saying. That's the big takeaway for me. But I feel like this has been rumored for a while, right? We've had this rumor swirl around they have a trainee. I know it's exciting when there's a new trainee, even if the entire landscape is your development system.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really neat stuff. I've made the comparison that Stardom is like AEW. This is where people want to work and get paid.
What a bad idea. I know.
Yeah.
Do you want to get paid and have good matches and, make something of your career? Just what a terrible idea.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's really only two big matches I'd like to talk about. The house shows are pretty fun right now. Prominence is coming out, Cause of Mischief, building up a Tekla Julia versus Akane and Risa Sarah match. I think Tekla should eat that pin, make Prominence look strong, and honestly, Prominence should probably win all their matches up until Sumo Hall. And if you're booking them past Sumo Hall, hell, they could win the Sumo Hall match, for all I care.
It's interesting how they're going about this, because the big match and the way everyone's looking at it is Suzu versus Julia. We know Julia has a title match at World Climax. I'm assuming I don't really know what match they do with Prominence, because it sounds like all of Prominence is going to be on that card. Would you do just DDM versus Prominence, or would you go for that Julia Suzu match? Because I think that's just what everyone else prefers.
Nah, there's no reason to burn it off that quick. Especially if the idea is to book Prominence after Sumo. The Sumo Hall match is the kind of faction versus faction match. Does it have to be a hardcore war like I was kind of pitching? It doesn't have to be. You can do like an elimination or a straight fall. The fact that Prominence is in Stardom, I think, is enough right now. It's just how they build it up over the next 6 weeks is where it gets a little interesting. Not including, now there's an 8th member of DDM after a certain house show match where Mai Sakurai got pwned by Julia, and then she's like, I'm sick of winning, I'm going to the winning side. I'm sick of losing, I'm going to the winning side. And Cosmic Angels in the mud. They're not looking too good. They're down to 3. 4? 4.
4. Waka's still there, even if she's winless. Come on.
Yeah. 4 members of Cosmic Angels. So maybe Cosmic Angels will be recruiting at this New Blood Rising show.
They probably will be. They'll have Unagi out there. No, she's going to actually challenge them all. She's going to have to assess every single person.
She joins the tournament and says, I must face you all.
She's going to say, Gauntlet, now. I'll take everyone on right now. And then you'll have like one super rookie beater at the end.
Yeah. I like the Mai Sakurai move. Keeps things fresh and interesting, and it gives a little story with Cosmic Angels.
It's weird. It's definitely weird because you look at DDM and you're like, oh, interesting, Mai Sakurai. But it's someone to lose.
Well, now it's an even amount, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
8 people.
Makes you think.
Makes you wonder. Things are going. Then there was a Cosmic Angels match. Mina and Unagi defeat Julia and Tekla. That sets up Mina and Unagi essentially as the number 1 contenders for the tag titles. They come out after a FWC match, and, gotta be crazy to face FWC. And Koguma likes bears, and Nagi and Mina go full, like, Ginyu Force out of Dragon Ball Z and do a big pose. Fucking howled.
Oh, man. They're so good.
Love these two. TJPW really missed out on these two. It could have been something.
No, they would have been undercard. Let's be honest.
Well, that's why they missed out. Look, man, you don't put Jimmy Butler on the bench. He starts the games. You kidding me?
Wow, I did not expect you to compare Unagi and Mina to Jimmy Butler, but yet here we are.
High-speed title match. Main event Korakuen Hall. Starlight Kid Natsupoi. 30-minute draw. And afterwards, Azumi sees a weaker Starlight Kid, challenges for the high-speed title. And Natsupoi takes advantage of her essential, month-long hiatus. Say, hey, look how strong I got. I'm still strong. White belt, mine. Kamitani, get your ass out here. And then more rumors and sensed with the mystery girl. Get into that a little bit here. But, 30-minute draw, and things move a million miles an hour. We got two new opponents. Not the best way of going about the booking, but they got shit to do in Stardom.
Yeah. I mean, it's so weird booking the high-speed belt because there's 4 people in the division. But
Well,
I mean, the match,
people,
the match worked. You got to your destination. That's the beauty of the 30-minute draw, people. We got to embrace it. Everyone wins. Look at that. Natsupoi didn't even beat Starlight Kid, and she was like, yeah, I can still challenge for the Wonder Stardom title. I think that match will be awesome. I think Sai and Poi are going to kill it at Cinderella Journey. And we're also getting Starlight Kid and Azumi, so I really can't complain.
Yeah, they did the Korakuen Hall as a building show, for sure. This is where Korakuen Hall kind of is at for Stardom, especially in 2022. I love the match, by the way. I seem to be the high guy on it, and that's okay. This reminded me of the old Natsuki Tayo type defenses where they'd go 20 plus minutes. For example, the inaugural kind of Stardom high-speed match was Leon against Tayo, where Tayo got her eye knocked out of her skull. Off a German suplex from the top. Wild. I think that match went 26 minutes. So I at least in my eyes, this was, I can't say nostalgia match because I just watched it not too long ago, but it definitely made me feel like it harpened back to what the high-speed title used to be. The high-end cruiserweight, very fast, more top rope moves kind of match, and Natsupoi Kid absolutely delivered that, and I loved the New Japan-esque selling of exhaustion the closer they got to the time limit draw, where they're jumping off the ropes and they just collapse like they've ran 60 kilometers in a marathon. I love stuff like
fitting.
that. Yeah.
It was fitting for, one, the high-speed match, because you don't expect them to go that long. And two, what's the longest match of Starlight Kid's singles career? What's the longest match of Poi's single career?
Yeah, I think it's this now. Yeah,
it definitely is this now. But beforehand, that's what you take into consideration when they're struggling and try to, get to that last gear. They got to a point where they just could not finish each other off. And I'm singing the praises of Starlight Kid all the time, but it's worth giving praise to Natsupoi too. She walked right back in after a month off, put up a 30-minute performance. Was it the best match of her career? No. But I thought, overall, I'm more in the middle of what everyone's thinking. Some people hated it. You loved it. I liked it. I thought it got the job done, like I said. And I definitely think the last 10 minutes were the big highlight for me. I thought they really killed it in the closing stretch, especially.
Yeah, I was trying in my head to think of different ways they could have got to a Poi, Kamitani, and Kid Azumi match, and I was kind of stuck on what they could have done for a Korakuen main event, other than this, because this was advertised as a big time main event. And one thing Stardom, and this is what I do agree with, is if you go to a Stardom show, you're guaranteed 2 things. Shit is going to happen on the show, for sure, whether it's in their mid-card or semi-main event, and you're going to see a good goddamn main event. You're not going to get fucked out of one. You're not seeing Show versus Yo go 26 minutes of garbage, right? You're watching Starlight Kid Natsupoi hit those ropes fast and hard, and put on a damn good effort. And, much like the Warrior Wrestling show, you saw Athena in her big comeback match go, look, Scotty, 3 of my top 4 women's matches are all 30-minute draws this year.
Interesting. I think I know what kind of matches you like. You like the draw.
I am the draw. Become the draw. Be one with the draw. Yeah, it's just kind of funny. I laugh at that.
But I did like it.
Mystery
Starlight
person.
Kid.
Mystery person.
Oh, mystery person. Yes.
Some people are speculating too now.
I'm just sticking to my guns with Kyrie. I just think
it if feels it's not
right. I hate that. Don't say that.
What if it's Kyrie plus Mystery Woman? That's kind of where the second one's coming in.
I can live with that. I know there's names floating out there for a Mystery Woman. I think if they brought in 2, that would be pretty cool. It would kind of be like what AEW just did when they supposedly announced one and then brought in 2 people, which would be kind of funny because there's sometimes parallels between the 2 hottest promotions in the world today. So if they definitely still bring in Kyrie, I'm happy. That's my number one thing here, JD. I've gotten my hopes up. We have reached the point of hopes all the way up. So anything less, probably a letdown.
I'm still leaning Sauriano with everything that's kind of been going on. I said that on the 5-Star Joshi podcast a while ago.
That you did.
Yeah. I've seen Tae Honma kind of float around the woodwork. I'm not sure I'm behind that, but man, that would be awesome. There's a lot of names out there I would be excited for. For a lot of people, Kyrie is kind of the must-have at this point. I do agree. I think Kyrie is very important to Stardom's history. She's one of the most beloved people in the promotion's history. There aren't many few that have reached her heights. Kyrie would mean a lot going forward for Stardom. I think so. Let's finish this
adding
sucker.
Kyrie to that, though. Adding Kyrie to that current roster. I mean, you already have a superstar roster filled of top to bottom names that can win your top 2 titles, and you add the one person you could put in like a Mayu conversation on the roster in terms of always main event, always important, that isn't on the younger side. That's part of that history. It's exciting. And if it's Sayori, that's cool too. I think she'd fit the roster too. So we'll see.
Time for Dragongate. All right, let's make Dragongate quick, shall we?
Oh, please.
Getting kind of late. Yeah, past my bedtime. I'm the one who's got to edit this and throw this out in the morning. Look, there was Truthgate is kind of the big February show for Dragongate each year. It's at Korakuen Hall. They got 662. Not much better than Stardom running Starlight Kid and Natsupoi high-speed title match. I don't know what that says, but hey, take it for what it's worth. How much of this show did you watch, and what were your thoughts kind of coming in and going out?
I think I watched. Might have been the last.
Like, you're
2 matches.
familiar with all the angles that have gone on since December and January, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, I have. So I am following that. And it's definitely interesting because when I started, watching Dragongate, it was back at Kobe World, and it's just completely changed since then. Which is Dragongate, I guess.
Yeah, they're not afraid to change up factions and do angles and storylines, which I can't say that a lot about other Puro promotions out there, which is why I like Dragongate so much. So, a couple of things happen on this show. We finally got the answer to Naruki Boy's International House of Hot Boys. Kota
liked
Minoura,
it.
yeah, Kota Minoura accepted the invitation finally after a semi-main event. The God, there's so many things that kind of go one step at a time here. Kaito Ishida was also joining the group, kind of seemingly out of nowhere. I guess he's the bad boy of the group. Yoshida is kicked out of the group, even though he claimed he was macho and he cried. So get that dork out of here. Very interesting that Takuma Fujiwara, who's a rookie, was in that semi-main event. So he's someone that there's a lot of rookies to keep an eye out for in Dragongate right now. Ryufuda, Fujiwara, the Hashi brothers, to an extent Shoya Sato as well. Dragongate pumps out people out of their dojo just constantly, and they're very good at it. They're also not afraid to push the young talents, where there's a lot of questions I have with when are certain guys going to start getting wins, which we saw over the last couple of years, like SB Kento. He gets quite a few of them. There was a goofy nostalgia match that I had no nostalgia for, which was the M2K reunion, which was a heel group in the early 2000s, where their whole shtick was winning by double countout, and they look like they were straight out of Skater Boy Central, like an Avril Lavigne music video. Let's see. So that happened. Rookie stuff. And Kai and SB Kento and crew all came out, denounced the RED name, and they have rebranded as Zebrats. What do you think of the color scheme, the name, and the group, Scotty?
I was, jumping into Dragongate. I'm still kind of, fully getting new to these things, and watching this show, I was like, oh. They got they got rid of two of the groups that I got accustomed to, and in very short order. They didn't get rid of RED, but they changed the name, and that was enough for me. Color scheme, I mean, if they want to look like the Boston Bruins, go nuts. I wasn't fully ready for the yellow, and it's funny because I skipped to the semi-main, and I saw them all wearing yellow. right. And I was like, what happened? Where's the red? I was so confused that I, searched online to see what happened. I was like, oh, okay. So complete makeshift switch up here. I mean, it's fine. I wanted to see Shun red gear, so I'm selfishly sad about that. Like that was what I was looking forward to. But the names, I need more understanding of the name.
It's very Dragongate-esque with wacky names.
Yeah.
So just kind of go with it. I mean, we
Zebrats.
Yeah, there was a whole faction named Jimmy once upon a time. There was Matt Blanky, so Zebrats is kind of on point.
That's fair. But the colors worked, I guess.
The color schemes and the gear definitely work for me. I do love it.
Yeah.
I was making the joke that Kai was an AJW fan and was a fan of the Zap tag team. And he loves bratwurst. So he's like, fuck, I love them both. Make him Zebrats.
Oh, man.
And he's a dork where he'd do it. It works in my head.
I like that. See, as long as someone gives your own background story, then that's all that matters.
Can you see a bunch of these kids, and then there's fucking BB Hulk and Kai in a corner with a cigar and a drink, and they got these kids around him, and they're like, guys, we got to come up with a name. And then Kai just puts down the cigar, and he goes, I got it. Kaoru Ito Zap. And he looks down. Fuck, this sausage is awesome. Bratwurst. Zebrats. Brilliant. And then BB Hulk goes, I'm tired of this red shit. I want black and yellow.
Told you. Boston Bruins. That was the decision here.
So BB Hulk is a huge Boston Bruins fan. I do like this. Tuukka Rask, retired, man.
I know. I'm emotional. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was a tough day.
I mean, I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, so I'm always in an emotional state of compromise. So.
So you're just used to sadness.
Yeah.
So that's
okay. Look, man, my sports teams I root for, sadness is required.
Yeah, you're a Utah Jazz fan too, right?
Yep, I sure am.
Blue Jays?
Avalanche are doing well. Blue Jays,
Avalanche are
Rockies.
nice.
Yeah. Rough times.
Yeah, you're used to sadness. That's tough.
Yeah, I will never see these teams win anything in my lifetime. Maybe the Avalanche. Maybe.
If the Avs don't win, something went wrong.
You got a good team. They're on a roll. Okay, so basically went through all these angles and stories. So it's like, what about the matches? And this is where I was not feeling the show. This didn't feel like Truthgate in the sense where I wanted a blow-away match that I've gotten in February. I guess Casey was always in the main event, but losing. But in the last few years, I've always gotten this big February match that really kind of, it feels like it kicks off the year. You know, you have some angles in January, it builds up to Truthgate, and then you hit the gas and you're on your way to like Dead or Alive later in the year. And yes, I got some angles, but we got angles in January. We got angles throughout the house shows. We even got angles at the house shows after this that essentially just continued what we saw at this show. And they didn't like add anything to it. Like we got the Eita Santa Maria thing. Eita's still interfering. Essentially retired the plastic box when he obliterated the dude with it in DQ in 2 minutes. Fine, I guess. But when I get a Dragongate show, I need, especially with Kai and Yoshida advertised at the main event, I need something more. And I didn't get that on this show from that perspective.
No, the main event wasn't. I mean, I guess the main event's exactly what you expected, right? You didn't expect.
It was worse.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not good.
No.
I didn't have many high expectations, so that helped me. I guess the problem is for me is one, I don't look at Kai and think, oh yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy I want as the champion. I don't think that for a second. And maybe some people agree with me that follow Dragongate more, but it's not it for me. I'm kind of counting down the days until he loses the belt. And I think this was when you asked me, what do I expect for attendance? Like higher, lower? I was like, probably like a push compared to Stardom, which if you think about it, Truthgate here. Truthgate's bigger show than one random Stardom Korakuen Hall that has their third or fourth singles title in the main event on the line against, there's no story there, and they just barely beat Stardom, so it's kind of telling. One, is that a shot at Kai? I don't know. Maybe. Two, that's also, let's not take credit away from Stardom for what they're doing, and I'm going to keep going back to Stardom because I want to.
I know it's a fun game to play.
It is. It really is, because the more they, you made a good comment about this. It's not Stardom's fault that they keep trying. It's not their fault, and they're doing big numbers. And if you're a Dragongate fan, I mean, you're not going to compare yourselves to Stardom yet because you're still number 2, but the ground is, it's getting closer and closer. Just saying.
I saw an argument that go, well, Dragongate doesn't run anything big until like April. And I go, well, how is that Stardom's fault then? They're running shows like every month, so they're doing better by the sheer numbers. Well, I mean, they don't have to run that much, but they are, and they're filling them up. So, like, Dragongate could do that, but they choose in February to run Korakuen Hall for a big show, while Stardom ran Dolphins Arena.
Right, exactly.
So,
and they killed it at Dolphins Arena.
They did, and they had much better matches at that show than Truthgate here.
With someone that just joined the roster that wasn't even a big name coming in. That was the main event for Dolphins Arena, and it absolutely killed.
Yeah. As for the main event, not much else to say. Kai defeats Takashi Yoshida. It was 18.5 minutes of sheer boredom. It was awful. It was terrible. Kai has cut promos saying you can't win by simply rolling somebody up. That's not a true victory. Of course, he ends the match on a roll-up, so haha, heel stuff. Didn't care at that point. I was, like, asleep. This was bad. And the post-match included Kai looking eye-to-eye with Big Boss Shimizu. Shimizu crosses his arms, and that'll be a big match, I guess, at the March Korakuen Hall or whatever. I hope that match is way better. I've seen some good things on the house show, them building up to it. I guess we'll see what's in store for Dragongate going forward. As for the Kaito Ishida joining the Hot Boys group, I know aesthetically it works, but I am slightly annoyed that Ishida and Eita get pummeled out of RED, and they both interfered in a match following that pummeling to fuck over now known as Zebrats. Eita cut a promo that's saying that RED is not over. We are RED. And then Ishida just kind of bounces and joins the Hot Boys. It's like, okay. I thought we were going to have like some sort of RED face turn, or they were going to recruit a couple other guys into their group, maybe a couple of the rookies. And, you know, a second heel group that's a little bit smaller and perhaps some like little warfare, that really seemed interesting to me. There was even a Noah element that I wasn't in love with the idea of Los Perros coming in from Noah, because Eita has the connection there in Nasawa. But with Yohei's connection, I think it's Yohei, Yohei's connection, there was a lot of possibilities there that I think they just kind of pissed away and just went a completely different route. I don't blame them for not doing that idea or anything like remotely like that, but Eita is still kind of in that direction, and he's doing this comedy routine with Santa Maria. That doesn't do it for me for sure. And Ishida just kind of bouncing out of a storyline. It's not very Dragongate is what I'm going at. So I'm a little not feeling that. This is definitely a let it play out promotion for sure. And you do get payoffs. But once that, I think it was once the January 12th Korakuen show happened for Dragongate, it's been a very slow 6 weeks. And I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop, essentially. You feel the same or similar, at least in the ballpark of that?
Yeah, because I'm looking at these shows and I'm like, I don't have much interest in these right now. Let's get to something. I ask people that follow Dragongate, like, listen, when's the next thing that's going to matter, that's going to make me care? Because...
and I bet most of them say, like, April.
Pretty much. I know there's a tournament coming up, trios, which should be fun, because trios and Dragongate's pretty killer. But not coming quick enough. And by the way, it's Eita's fault that he's not hot enough to be in the group. So,
oh well, Ishida's bad boy hot guy. He fits the bill. Eita's a grimy, scummy guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll keep you posted. Dragongate's tricky with its house show schedule. You kind of want to stick to Korakuen's, Kyoto, and KBS Hall. It's kind of where you want to stick to. If they run like Fukuoka or some shit, don't watch those.
I appreciate that. I mean, KBS Hall is nice, unless you ask Parker.
What, he doesn't like stained glass?
He said it today. He said that's venue sucks, and I said death taxes. Parker hates a popular opinion.
Is he becoming a hipster? Sounds like he's becoming a bit of a hipster.
Oh man, no, he likes Stardom. No,
does he?
He doesn't like draws. So does he like Stardom?
I think he's becoming a hipster. I bet he likes Noah.
I enjoy Go Shiozaki.
Yeah. You like losers, do you? What are you, in my neck of the woods?
Well, I like Katsuhiko Nakajima too, so it goes both ways.
I suppose you even yourself out. Scotty, it was great having you on. We've been at this for a couple hours. It's getting late.
Yeah, I came straight from work to do this, man.
Yeah,
So
thanks
I'm
for
tired.
showing up. I'm tired too. I gotta wake up in like 4 hours.
Yeah, see, I don't have to do that, so I appreciate you giving me some leeway to get on here again. Hopefully next time, if there is a next time, of course.
Of course there will be.
It won't be as late, so we can both not have to rush. Maybe, a little bit more Stardom, because JD, you know how much I love Stardom,
Of
and
course.
how much I can talk about that. I think I splashed Stardom into every topic today,
As we always should.
As we always should. But thank you for having me on. Happy to be on again, and yeah, it was good. Good talking a little bit of everything. That's what I love about this show.
All right, we'll see you next time, Scotty. And it is time for Solo JD. As he continues the rest of this podcast by himself, that's me. We're going to go through some AEW and New Japan here, New Japan Strong in particular. And then we'll head into the retro. So let's not waste any more time. I am going to go through a certain topic that it came about because of a Hikaru Shida interview that went into it was like a Tokyo sports magazine type. And the big stink behind it was her, it was her viewpoint on how tough it is for Joshi wrestlers to kind of break through into AEW, and how tough it is to acclimate, and there was a number of things brought up, from trying to find a place to live to the language barrier. And from someone who has moved and lived and worked and gone to school in different countries with different languages, I can relate in a lot of ways. I can sympathize, and then it really got me thinking of more than just what kind of the online discourse was, particularly among my Twitter feed, that I was able to get a small sample size. There was a big Reddit post about it all. Post wrestling had a small discussion on it. Something worth checking out. So I will get into that in a little bit here. After I go into kind of just general AEW thoughts. And then it's going to kind of focus on the women's division, which, of course, this is essentially a women's wrestling podcast at times. Most of it, if anything. But there is other things. Like, I like AEW. I really do. I watch almost every single episode I can. Wednesdays and Fridays, I have bowling night. So I have to find time outside of bowling, or even during bowling, to kind of keep my mind occupied on doing well. I'll throw on some Dynamite on the phone or whatever. And that's kind of how I view AEW these days. And it's much more enjoyable than simply trying to break it down, because there's a lot of things I used to do with AEW on this podcast, from going over weekly ratings to attendances and whatnot. And AEW, for the most part, the ratings at this point in time, they moved to TBS, and this is the trend that you're going to see going forward, is they have a huge lead-in with The Big Bang Theory. And so once that first quarter hour is done, not everyone's going to stay, obviously, so you're going to have a huge dip, and that's going to be kind of your big tell of what the audience throughout the show is going to be. And, you might get like 50 to 100,000 in any direction, but mostly it's just kind of a straight line throughout the show. And I believe I mentioned it last week, where the trend of the 9 o'clock top of the hour is kind of no longer AEW's priority. And if you remember, at the beginning of, or the first year of Dynamite, they would, Tony Khan would stack 3 points of the card. The start of the show, which would be like the Heavy Young Bucks match. You'd have like a Jericho segment at 9 o'clock Eastern time, and then you'd have your big main event. Now, it's seemingly everything is kind of stacked to that first 45 minutes. And then from there, it's whatever is kind of the big drawing viewership of the night. And that's something we've seen a lot of in January 2022 so far, is you will have the Hangman Page Danielson match start the show, and then you'll have a upper mid lower main, like cusp main event type match to end the show, and everything else is filled with a lot more promo work going on. There's not as many like crazy group angles that there used to be, which I kind of miss. There's a lot of things about Dynamite that, since crowds have come back, they do a lot less of, and it's more focused on just basic kind of promos in the ring. So I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more brawling angles. I'd like to see more exciting lucha-type matches. And to be honest, I've really enjoyed Rampage a lot more than Dynamite the last few weeks, because Rampage, yes, it's only an hour, and it seems to have two kind of on-fire matches the whole time. They do a couple quick angles. It kind of is showing a lot of talent that you don't normally see. And it just excites me more, just from my fan perspective. But back to kind of where Dynamite stands, Brandon Thurston, WrestleNomics, came out and he estimated, I think it was like $84 million in revenue for Dynamite this year. And as long as they keep the ratings up to where they are, where it's hovering around 800,000 to 1.1 million viewership, a high 0.3, low 0.4, 18 to 49 demo. These are all good numbers, solid. They're up year over year. There's not much to get into from that perspective without just completely dedicating an entire podcast to go deeper into it. And, you got WrestleNomics for that. You got the Observer you can read weekly for a lot of those aspects. So with just some things that caught my eye and what I enjoyed over AEW the last couple weeks was, I like what they're doing with Kings of the Black Throne, Brody King, Malachi Black, doing a lot of good things together. The Danhausen thing, I really don't like that they just kind of chucked him into the best friends and he just shows up. It really seems pointless. It's not for me. I don't get it. And I keep trying to ignore it, but they keep putting him involved with main event type stuff, and it's not working for me. But I want to see where the Kings of the Black Throne end up, and I want to see them get into the tag title picture sooner rather than later. None of this go hang out on Dark stat pad type stuff. I am so sick of Dark and Dark Elevation being just stat pad shows that don't do anything for development of the talent other than it gets them to pop the crowd for a 3-minute match. That's all it is. Where do Death Triangle go from here? Phoenix is out. It sure seems like they're building up to. They even had a little vignette of Pentagon Dark coming back. I think it's like Penta Cicero or something. So it's kind of funny. Let's see what happens with Death Triangle and Kings of the Black Throne. Maybe they can throw in a third team or introduce a couple more people into this and really bring that home. Because I want to see what happens with... maybe they can get the Jurassic Express involved. Because they with Revolution coming up quick, that could be a cool little mixture there. Nyla Rose, Ruby Soho came and went. Don't worry about that. And then the MJF CM Punk match, it went 38 minutes across the show, and I thought this was just phenomenal wrestling. And not so much in the sense from the high-end bell-to-bell work, but it was as close to a modern wrestling style with 1980s thought process booking, and it absolutely worked. I adored this a lot. leading to the early match time. It kind of, so this is one thing I do agree with Tony Khan is you with the Danielson Hangman Page matches. They started the show and you didn't, to me anyways, it didn't tip the hand of how long they were going. When MJF music came out and it was like 10 after 9, I was like, oh, so we're going a long time. However, what was excellent was it led up to MJF getting that rope and essentially loading the sleeper hold, and CM Punk's arm goes down, and the crowd just went shocked face awe that what they just saw, and I was like, okay, what else are they going to do? And then it was very obvious. MJF gets caught. They restart the match, and they go out, and that's when they start going out and having all the hell of a moves, because the crowd got all excited for the restart, and this was in Chicago, so it all worked well. CM Punk hit the Pepsi Plunge for the first time in like 15 years or whatever it is, and MJF beat him twice in one night. I thought this was great. The only thing that, and I've heard a lot of people say this and critique it, and I do agree with this, is I don't have a problem per se with the Adam Cole losing the Lights Out match to Cassidy. It's just the how quick a turnaround it was, where Adam Cole says, oh, well, forget that, I'm going to challenge for the title, while MJF has beaten CM Punk. Clearly now, after another week, there is that spot open for Adam Cole to challenge at Revolution, while MJF still has to deal with his CM Punk problem. This makes sense. The issue where it lies is, unlike what happened with Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa in the Lights Out match, where Britt Baker then went on later to win the women's title from Shida, is there was a good almost 3 months in between those, so Baker could build up a little bit more momentum again, coming off the quote-unquote not counting loss. And Adam Cole just didn't have that. He kind of just got mad and ignored the fact that he had lost, and just off the technicality, it doesn't count, he can still challenge. Very much against that. It does bring off the perception that Adam Cole is not the number one contender, while absolutely MJF is. That's the problem there. Let's see. Adam Cole beat Evil Uno in 2 minutes. Whatever. Sammy Guevara, coming off that excellent ladder match, defeated Isaiah Cassidy. Isaiah Cassidy's getting a lot of props these days. Private Party's getting a lot of props. They're getting better. They finally know their characters. Hey, things take time, and Matt Hardy's found his role. The Andrade buying the group and wanting to purchase the child that works for Sting is really funny. I love that. It's keeping Andrade busy. I like things like this. Thunder Rosa DQ with Mercedes Martinez. Hey, fine, tells a story. Martinez was brought in by Baker to cause her to lose, and they're putting a little standings shtick involved. I would much rather have seen Martinez get I don't know. Let's do some. You know what? I'll save the women's thoughts for all together. Ricky Starks, reversal counter of the year so far, of the lethal injection into the Real Shambo. Fantastic. I want to see more of this FTW title. I know it's not a technical title, but it can be a sense of pride that people like Ricky Starks puts on the line, puts his pride on the line, and people can go after the physical embodiment of pride. I want to see them do more, because I don't see the TNT title as a mid-card title. I see it as more or less an upper television title. It's its own thing. It's its own entity. It's booked in its own unique way. I want to see the FTW title booked exactly like that. And when you have guys that you want to bring up on the up and up, and they need to stay busy, that's what this is. That's why people keep clamoring for trios titles so much. It keeps people busy. It makes it seem like they're doing more important things on the roster. That's one of my big positives behind Stardom is people can complain there's too many titles all they want. Well, it makes everyone seem like they're doing something important, and it makes you feel invested in the wrestlers you want to see more. So imagine Ricky Starks without this FTW title that he occasionally defends. I wish he'd do it more. But you kind of thinking to yourself, man, he's kind of stale. He's not doing much. What's going on? And let's get some more. Let's get Dante Martin. Keep going in this storyline. We got Hobbs coming up, Face of the Revolution, and let's just move on. Next, Dynamite was, let's see, more Wardlow story. Keith Lee debuts and trounces Isaiah Cassidy in amazing fashion. By the way, love his theme song. Kudos to the guys over at One Nation Radio. I believe he was directly involved in the theme over with Mikey Ruckus, so thumbs up there. Hell of a debut for Keith Lee. Came out immediately, popped off his charisma very well. Isaiah Cassidy flew through the air, so that's 2 great matches in a row for Isaiah Cassidy, really coming through, and he's getting up there and like just putting in some 1 and 2 star matches out of the 3-star recommendation scale over there. My only concern about Keith Lee is he is getting up there in age. He's a much bigger guy, and look, he's gained a lot of weight. There's no doubt about it. I don't fault the guy. He's kind of been out for like a year and a half. His confidence is probably shot with what's going on with him. I worry more about his knees and back for what he needs to do to be Keith Lee. He can be the power guy as we saw here, but there's going to become a time when, he needs to have his version of the Andrade Pac match to really showcase at a high level what he can do, and that'll kind of keep him into the main event, because there is main event potential with Keith Lee. Again, I'm just worried about his state and how he's going to get there. Again, I'll save the Serena Deeb, Jade Cargill type stuff for later. CM Punk Moxley, this goes into that MJF storyline again. They beat FTR. This went 18.5 minutes. I adored this match. It was, I believe, the first match in AEW where it was an impromptu made match for the night. Interesting that they would do it this way. It was kind of the theme of the night was the mystery people. So could the mystery person be CM Punk's partner? Well, we already saw Keith Lee. Then we see a backstage interview with Jay White showing up. I'm wondering what his role is going to be. Looks like we're heading towards a singles match with Trent Beretta, which is cool. I like watching Trent Beretta wrestle. He does his role well. Gets Orange Cassidy out there. I like the Best Friends. I like their shtick. They're fun guys to have, and they can lose like every time, and it's totally fine. So yeah, this was a phenomenal match. CM Punk and Moxley, they really nailed the near falls and double team moves. It's FTR at their finest. What did I give this? I believe I gave it 2 out of 3. No, I went full 3 out of 3 on this sucker. That's right. And then Texas Deathmatch. Look, Lance Archer, he's got credibility in these things. He beat Jon Moxley for the U.S. title and won. He had the really good match at Wrestle Kingdom with the Texas Deathmatch. He does a lot of these hardcore matches that get over. Did he have? Yeah, he even had the Wild Cody match. Yeah, it was overbooked, but it still worked out pretty well. And obviously the Dallas G1 match against Will Ospreay kind of put him up there on a certain pedestal. This match absolutely delivered. Was the story going in a little wacky with Lance Archer kind of going, oh shit, I can challenge for the world title if I don't beat up Dan Lambert? Sure, okay. Neither here nor there. What counts is Lance Archer and Adam Page beat the hell out of each other. They bled. They bruised each other up. I loved the story of taking away the buckshot lariat, because that's kind of how their brawls went and getting taken out. So Dan Lambert taking off the top rope, played in. How was Adam Page? I thought they were heading towards Deadeye through the table. And when Lance Archer picked Adam Page up, and Page has the half crimson mask over him, this dude is just bleeding every freaking month. There's a joke there. Lance Archer picks this dude up for a blackout, and I couldn't believe my eyes. He actually flipped him, and Page goes over on the steps that are tilted sideways, and he lands on this, bounces, kind of goes face first into the turnbuckle too, and audible gasp. That was an incredible sight. And it wasn't shortly after that Paige was able to reverse leap over the bent referee and buckshot lariat Archer through a table. And because it's Texas Deathmatch, it's essentially last man standing. Hey, fantastic. I adored this. Another 3-star match in the world of Hangman Adam Page. Kudos there. And that'll take us to, Bucks, Roppongi Vice, good stuff. Jurassic Express versus the Gun Club. Hey, good stuff there too. Now the topic at hand. So, again, Shida put out the article. Very, she kind of put it out there that it's tough uprooting your life and essentially having to figure all these things out on your own. And what I will say on that regard is I'm actually kind of shocked that a company like AEW, where ownership, Tony Khan and company, have experience running professional sports clubs, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Fulham FC in England, in the Premier League. And as, again, I will use my own personal experience, they have the ability and ease to just kind of, they probably even have their own agency, like player agency, that they can contact to help people move and get things like a driver's license, get things like an apartment and seek it out. It's not like these things are out there. And especially now with things like Corona, and there's a lot more difficulties in kind of accommodating your talents. And when you have people from foreign nations, that even different states, because let's face it, the American, like, people in general don't like move away from home all that often, like not extreme distances, and people uprooting their lives into new areas. It's not as easy for everybody as it may seem on paper. Like just hopping in a car and going there, yes, the action itself is easy, but getting acclimated to new neighborhoods and, Jacksonville, Florida, it's not exactly, you're not exactly going to the city life. You're in like rural America. Like, come on. So when I hear things like Shida had to find an apartment, she's worried about Emi Sakura, who doesn't have as good English skills. There's a lot of worries there, and to me, there's no excuse for these operations that have the ability to accommodate accordingly. This shouldn't happen. Because when I moved to Germany and Canada, and even a stint in Romania, there was a level of help assisted to me, and it was for a limited time, sure, but the basic needs were met. This is where you live. This is where the grocery stores are. If you have trouble with the language, hey, here's some key things to get you through certain circumstances. Set up a bank account is like all these things in daily lives are very stressful. And I can't, when people ask me what's it like to live abroad, and honestly, the first 3 months are the hardest. Those are the hardest because you get bounces of culture shock. You don't know what you're doing is right within the communities that you're in. You have an immediate sense of isolation that's really tough to overcome, and you really have to, like, the benefit of Shida and Emi Sakura is at least they have each other, and they can speak to each other. While in my case, in all of these cases, I was very much alone, and that's much harder. So that's my take on that manner. And really, when it came to Shida talking about talent use and the difficulty of kind of breaking through a ceiling, is clearly we've seen a movement in AEW, specifically the women's division, where it's focused on 3 people: Britt Baker, Jade Cargill, and the storyline going on with Serena Deeb. And I have there's an easy theory behind all 3 of them. Jade Cargill is the one they want to push. Big money talent. Makes sense to me. Fine. Britt Baker's the promo. She was the star from day one. And she's always a constant TV presence. Okay, makes sense too. The one that sticks out, and to what Sheeta said, where there's the language difficulty, they have to, and even Big Swole's comments, where much of the AEW roster has to come up with their own storylines and whatnot, own ideas to get by. This is where Serena Deeb comes in, where she's different than the rest of the roster. And when you look at the male roster and who is kind of in and out accordingly, it's the people that can cut promos, and it's the most creative that are getting on TV. While if you don't have that, you have to be one of those big projects. You have to be the Dante Martin. You have to be the Jungle Boy. You have to be the... well, Darby Allin's very creative. You have to be the Sammy Guevara, where you were just so athletic and the young future that they want to focus on, that's how they get on TV. So where the women division has the most trouble in this sense is this is now two people that have spoken out about this, and where women's wrestling is different than the men is men's wrestling over the last 20 years has had these promotions, whether it's Ring of Honor, TNA, various indies. You can look at your own indies in your local areas. What are the majority of these cards? What are the main events built around? It's built around the men. So when it comes to training and spots and getting work to work on your game, the men have the clear opportunities and advantage, and for good reason. There's more of them. There's more promotions that'll book them. So the women, when it comes to women's wrestling in the West specifically, and it wasn't until the last few years, even in Japan, where Joshi's kind of taken off in the Stardom sense, women's wrestling has not had the TV experience, the creative experience, the backing of being booked into even semi-main event roles. This is all new ground territory. So I get it. You want women to be treated equally to the men. Well, this can't happen. In fact, you have to treat them unequally in the sense that you have to treat this as something new that you're building. So if you want to assist the women the way you want them to and want them to get bigger and grow, you need to teach them, and I do get the sense that they're teaching them some of these things, but in this creative sense that AEW has, there's a lot that's just non-existent with most of the women. Serena Deeb is the one with the most experience and working for a major company out of anybody on this roster. Thunder Rosa's experience on TV was Lucha Underground, where she was a green as grass rookie doing what she's told in a stop-start camera environment. It's not the same. And there's a reason why Thunder Rosa's hardly on TV, and she's hanging out in like Warrior Wrestling and winning indie titles instead of being on TV weekly to build up this feud as hot as possible with Britt Baker. So there needs to be some creative initiative that, I'm not saying hire writers. I'm saying get the creative people involved within your company and talk to these women. Come up with ideas. Come up with storylines. Because what we're seeing now out of Serena Deeb is looks seemingly like the only person with some ideas. And that's what led to that Sheeta storyline over the course of a few months. Britt Baker clearly has like some story she wants to tell, but they're generally kind of misses. So what that is from that perspective over how they can fill a lot of that. And then the other issue is it's really for the television spots in general. They keep booking the indie talent over their own talents. And the glaring example is Jade Cargill versus AQA and the Robin Renegade Britt Baker match. Both happened in the same week. Now, inherently, I don't have a problem with giving young talent like AQA, who is a clear prospect and should be given some high-end spots. Does she need a TBS title match on Dynamite? when she has like 19 matches in her career. I mean, you got balls to put them there. I'll give them that, but it wasn't a great showing. It wasn't what will convince your audience, even myself, that she's anywhere close to ready. And the Robin Renegade match wasn't any exception. You have plenty of talent that you can give these chances to. Where's Penelope Ford versus Jade Cargill? You gave me Anna Jay, but she's greener than grass still as well. Where's her reps being thrown around? Where's the Tay Conti match that you can start? If you want to build your sports-based roster and presentation, this Jade Cargill run, like rolling through the roster, isn't a bad idea, but her facing various indie talents and squash matches, okay, it's not something I would do. So it's what I'm really getting at here is it's not just the Joshi that's used and booked poorly because of one reason or another. It's kind of all of them. Where are your Contis, your Chris Statlanders? They're it's almost like they don't get the same TV ops as, say, even Private Party. Like, they put Private Party in with the HFO and Matt Hardy, because Matt Hardy has a sort of nostalgia clout to an extent. They put Sammy Guevara with Chris Jericho, and that's... What are these ideas? It's Chris Jericho with creative, give me a group. It's Matt Hardy with creative, give me a group. Okay. Britt Baker, she has a group, but like none of them wrestle. It's fucking Jamie Hayter standing there and Reba doing nonsense. It's not a group. We need more of the same. Like, if we're gonna have some booking trends with AEW, we need to kind of mash this up with the women and give, not like just give, but have them earn the same opportunities. Have them earn the television time like anyone else. And having AQA on the television instead of Tay Conti isn't accomplishing that. If anything, it's a deterrence that none of these women are ready. So, personally, I'd rather see, that Jade Diamante match. I'd rather see Baker and Hayter in a tag match against Rosa and Red Velvet to build up Baker and Rosa a little bit more. Because there's no problem in Velvet getting pinned, or even Hayter at this point in time, and they can continue playing into the Hayter's a loser story. There's so many different directions they can go with all of these different booking strategies, from DQs to countouts to flash pins to knockouts to instead we're to tag matches to trios matches. Instead, it's here's a singles match, here's a squash match, and the same goes for Dark. You just don't get the same. It's just singles match cold every week in and week out. Fun building type matches instead of what I will deem statistic inducing matches isn't getting the job done, and it's not helping this roster out. So reality, this needs to be treated differently due to the state of the women's division, the state of women's wrestling, the talent that needs to be developed, and their abilities. It has to be treated different. Otherwise, you'll never see that improvement that we all want to see and clamor for. And there's my little spiel on AEW. So I'm very curious how the TBS title is going to play heading into Revolution. I sort of expect that it's going to be Baker versus Rosa in a couple weeks at Revolution, believe it or not. Sure doesn't feel like it's enough time. Rosa does not feel hot enough unless they somehow heat it up differently. And honestly, I don't think it's time. I think, based on what I saw out of Warrior Wrestling, if I'm Tony Khan and I'm company and I'm Thunder Rosa, I want to run that Athena match back in AEW. And bring, like, if you're not gonna, I said it at the top of the cast, I really get the feeling Athena's coming in. Let's get Athena some like strong wins in a couple weeks here alongside Thunder Rosa. Like, they're just watching each other, they're challenging each other to singles matches on Rampage or Dynamite or whatever. And they can be 5-6 minute things, that's fine, against your Red Velvets, against your Penelope Fords. Like people that can eat pins and have a decent little match. And it culminates to, you can put it on the buy-in, you can put it on the main show, I don't care. But give me like a 12 to 15 minutes match of Athena versus Thunder Rosa, run that back. That'll create a sense of hotness for Britt Baker and make that a television match. I don't want to see that extended to Double or Nothing. And if you want to do some like crazy hot booking of the women's division, you can have Thunder Rosa win, and then you run it back as a pay-per-view match, and Thunder Rosa wins again. The defining victory over Britt Baker, you can do it again. Like, you can do these things twice. Like, how FTR Young Bucks haven't had a second match, I don't know. It's just top of my head. That's what I want to see. I don't think that's the direction that they're going to go, but I want to see some people get hot in storylines and not spread out needlessly over a period of time. So I guess I got to say, who would be Britt Baker's next opponent? Tough to say. You could theoretically run Chris Statlander back, but you've already done that one. Riho's out for an extended period of time. Shida is in Japan, gonna fight in Tokyo Joshi Pro at Grand Princess. I say, I wonder if the timing works. I think this is time for a shock like entry person. Might be a good time just to kind of throw someone out there. I don't think you turn Jamie Hayter. Hell, how about this? Mercedes Martinez takes care of Thunder Rosa, and she demands the shot, and that's what you build to. How about that? Let's go with that. I gotta roll through the rest of this podcast here, because I'm running out of time for myself. Let's get some New Japan Strong. Here we go. All right, New Japan Strong thoughts. I really enjoy the show. It's Saturday night, and I'm going to use all the phrases, boys. It's easy to watch, nothing overstays its welcome, and at the end of the day, New Japan Strong should be on your watch list. Yeah, nailed it all. Best review ever. Okay. Brody King, Yuya Uemura, 13 minutes. This kind of ruled, and I'm not even a big Brody King singles match guy, which is very strange for me to say. Brody King in singles match elements, he doesn't really do it for me. He's a big dude. He's got a cool look to him, very unique. Throws some bombs, all well and good. But for some reason, when it comes to tag matches, and he can just come in out of nowhere and obliterate a dude, that is way better. That's why I'm really into that Kings of the Black Throne tag team way more. But Yuya Uemura, he got something, brother. I like this match. The tag team matches that I've seen on Strong the past couple weeks have been very good. They each, this is good that they're doing, and I like this strat where the tag matches function as stories to build up to the singles matches. And when you have an hour show, and you're at Washington Hall in Seattle, and you're just kind of hanging out in front of 500 people for like 13 matches, it gets people interested to see what they're going to see maybe later in the taping, and you still get a damn good tag match. And this Leo Rush, Rocky Romero defeating the West Coast Wrecking Crew with Tassel Daddy and crew. Look, it went 11 minutes. Rush and Romero win. The Wrecking Crew kicked their asses post-match. This was another solid. Rocky Romero has been on a nice little subtle role lately. He's in that Roppongi Vice, shows up on the Rampage, and has a nice little match with the Bucks. He's here on Strong, and you know what? If I watch Strong all year and I like what I see, Rocky Romero could be. He's got to be booking this thing. He books the talent. He's talent relations. He's got to have a lot of the booking say in America here for New Japan. He might be in that Booker of the Year conversation, the way this is going. And then the main event was phenomenal. Good recap package, catching me up with the whole TJP Clark Connor storyline, TJP joining the United Empire, Will Ospreay's group. TJP's sort of a hitman. Clark Connors is out of his young lion phase. He's a big baby face. These two went to war. TJP, good wrestler, douchebag human, or at least an idiot. That's okay. Makes him easy to hate. I don't need to like this guy. And I can like him. I can like how he wrestles. And I wanted Clark Connors, the Rhino, or the Wild Rhino, to win this match. And this definitely delivered. 18 minutes. Strong match on New Japan Strong here. Very much played into the old busted knee storyline that they had up building up to it. That's how TJP was taking him out. This was just classic pro wrestling. No complaints here. I gave this. Did I give it a full 3? I might have given it a full 3. And the next one, the next Strong, not as good, but I did like what I saw. Cody Chun had a good babyface comeback against Hikuleo. Just Hikuleo, too big, too strong. Hikuleo, he's got some build on him now. He's not blumbering around the ring like Grimace in McDonald's ads. He instead looks like an actual wrestler that can chokeslam you through the mat. And I don't watch Impact, so I don't always do it over there, but whatever. Cody Chung, good showing, brother. Josh Barnett, Red Narita. Poor Red Narita. He took on a brick house of a man. Barnett still has something left in the tank, but in 10 minutes, Narita got some good hope spots, but ends up eating a hell of a suplex. Just gets dumped right on his head. Eats a forearm and taps out the armbar. I give the A-OK. And the main event, Finjuice, these dorks, these dirt nerds, taking on Bad Dude Tito and Jonah. All right, how old are you, Bad Dude Tito? Where are you from? I'll look you up. Got Tito Escondido. Oh, that name. From, I was going to say Whiter, California, but that's Whittier, California. Oh my god, his nicknames. The Bulldozer, Io de Jaguar, Jaguar. His signature moves, the Tito Toss, the F5, and the 450 Splash. We should add a degree or number to the Tito Toss. I will call it the 360 Tito Toss. There we go. Flips you upside down. Completely over. Yeah, fun match. I love Jonah. All caps rock. In New Japan Strong. He can stay out of Impact. Keep him out of there. This is where he belongs. This is his house. Love it. So it looked like Bad Dude Tito and Jonah had this match. They were about to give Juice Robinson a ticket to hell through the mat, and David Finlay David Finlay was about to get taken to hell through the mat, and Juice Robinson comes in, tackles Jonah, and David Finlay small packages Bad Dude Tito for the win. This isn't over, brother. So good little booking here from New Japan Strong. This is going to be a thing on the podcast. This is AEW New Japan Strong, your weekly television reviews. Do I want to see a little bit more star power in these Strong shows? Yeah. But these 2 weeks, we're building up to something. I'd like to see a little bit more Tom Lawler involved. Get that open weight title here, that Strong title. I think next week we're getting Jay White, the US of J challenge. Who knows who might show up there. There's a lot to like with what's going on with New Japan Strong. I definitely recommend checking it out. And with that said, it's time to get into the quick retro segments. Well, at least for WCW, it'll be quick. Because holy shit. But let's get... You know what? I would be mistaken if I didn't play some Minami Toyota. Here we go. And welcome to the All Japan Women Destiny section of this podcast. And obviously, where would I be without reintroducing myself? Because there are a lot of listeners here that only listen on the AJW Destiny feed or skip all the way to the retro section here on the podcast proper, Red Leaf Retrocast. Thank all for joining. It's time for Retro Wrestling. All Japan Women Classics that you can find in various Google Drives. Samurai TV is where they air. Puroso Dream is kind of where everyone gets theirs. It's episode 62. We're in August of 1992. The Japan Grand Prix is nearing its conclusion, but not before we get through a nice little build show with evil Akira Hokuto coming into her Dangerous Queen form on an August 13th show, and then the excellent Midsummer Typhoon show on August 15th, 1992, the annual big show from All Japan Women. And before I get into that, consider leaving us a nice little review on the Spotify. Click whatever star rating you want. Head on over to iTunes and you leave us a nice little review. There was a period of time where we went through a change and we lost about 30, 40 reviews over there on iTunes. So you would really help us out. You get those reviews back up. And if you like the retro women's wrestling, consider the Patreon, patreon.com/redleafretrocast, where we do the Joshi 2010s journey. I just put out an episode over JWP from 2011 with a main event of Haley Hatred versus Kaori Yoneyama, JWP Pure Slam 2011. A lot of good stuff on that show. A lot of talent starting to be elevated in the scene. We'll see how long-term that works out. And obviously, I do LLPW reviews. And I'm in 1993 in that promotion, and we're quickly approaching that here on the Classics. So here we go. August 13th, 1992, we got a tag match. Saki Asagawa and Mariko Yoshida takes on Akira Hokuto and Toshio Yamada. A team that don't like each other. This is part of the Daily Sports... No, I'm sorry. God, I'm mixing up my JWP stuff. This is part of the Fuji TV Tag Tournament. This was, and the whole shtick of the tournament is it's essentially... what's that gimmick from WCW? Lethal Lottery, I think that's what it is. Random drawing tag teams, and you're all kind of put together coincidentally enough. Ha ha ha. So, Hokuto and Yamada don't like each other. They're not getting along. Because Hokuto is a bad bitch these days, and she's got her big wooden kendo sword deal, and she's all about hitting bitches, taking names, and giving those names to LCO. And Yamada, she's a woman of honor. She just wants to kick ass and take those names for herself. No cheating. So where does that leave poor Mariko Yoshida, who's bandaged up more than Akira Hokuto at this point in time? The Mummy version 2 over here with Yoshida. And Saki Hasegawa, the woman who spams more buttons than a Tekken character. Well, it doesn't last long. Akira Hokuto hits the ring after Saki Asagawa does her jumping heel kick spam, where she does 10 of them in a row. And Hokuto proceeds to ruin this woman. They do what looks to be a concussion angle, where it was Hokuto just beats her up so bad that Hasegawa, it's called off. Hasegawa's injured. Not going to happen. Hokuto's like, all right, I'm done. I'm out of here. I did my job. And she beefs it out with LCO to the back. Sword and all. And Yamada's all confused. She's pissed. She barely got in the match. And she kind of hightails it. Yoshida gets on the mic. And she demands a restart for honor. You're not going to take a win like that. The ref stop. It's just nonsense. It's straight out of the 80s booking for AJW. Hokuto and Yamada eventually make their way back. Yamada gets on the apron. Hokuto gets in the ring. And there's 3 hope spots from Yoshida. And Hokuto beats the hell out of her. Northern Light bomb. Pins her ass. Out of here. Yamada is furious. She wasn't even in the match at all. She just stood there on the apron, It looks like it was a singles match between the two, Hokuto and Yoshida. It's just business for Hokuto. We're out of here. She doesn't want anything to do with Toshio Yamada. And it kind of goes into a rivalry that's going on in the Grand Prix at this time, because Yoshida's getting a lot of points at this point in time. Yamada is high in the table, and Hokuto is kind of like 50-50. She's up, she's down, she's up, she's down. The main people that you are seeing is like Aja Kong, and unfortunately Bicycle Hora is essentially no longer in the promotion. She got injured, and we'll get into a certain couple wrestlers here that are really starting to kind of fill that gap where Bicycle Hora used to be. So nice little angle there. And that brings us into the Midsummer Typhoon show, August 15th, 1992, at a packed Korakuen Hall. I couldn't find an exact attendance, but it sure looked like to be like a Cap 2000 level set where they're just filed in like sardines. And I watched, so you can find this entire show via a YouTube channel where it was a full television broadcast of the entire show. It was like 2.5 hours. And the beginning of this card is very quick and easy to describe. We got an opening like rookie match. It's class of 91 versus class of 90. Chikako Hasegawa and Ritamata defeat Akemi Torisu and Seimi Numata. 3 of these 4 people amount to nothing. Don't even worry about them. It's a 6-minute match of nothing. Ritamata goes over to Arcean and becomes like a mid-card wrestler. So that's the best we got. Tamata, I guess the shocking part is the class of 91 beat their elders. If you want to put it that way. Ritamata is the only one with like any potential out of this match. Kumiko Meikawa and Tomoko Watanabe, Team Karate, over here, 8.5 minutes these two go. They have the task of facing Miori Kamiya and Terry Powers. Oh, Terry Powers, she's back. Oh, she is so much fun. This was a phenomenal watch. And not in the good way. Like, Terry Powers looks like she is the beast incarnate, the beast from the east. One in 1 minute, and the next minute she would have every 1970s 80s commentator going, "She's exposing the business, it's dying." Miori Kamiya has like Incredible Hulk green face paint all on her, and she screams like a banshee. That's her shtick. She screams, then she does a suplex. She screams, then she does like a boot. It's quite comical. Kamiya and Terry Powers win this match, but there's only one spot I want to talk about, and that's okay, 2. The minute Terry Powers looks good is when she first hits the ring, obliterates her enemies with 3 crazy ass lariats, and the crowd buys the near fall. There's also a nice wheelbarrow into a full Nelson suplex hold where the crowd pop from the strength. And then Kami gets in the ring a little while. Mikawa and Tomoko do their thing, and then Terry Powers hits the ring again. And she ducks over the double clothesline attempt from May and Tomoko. And instead of, as you would think, run the ropes and clothesline them both on the rebound, she kind of stops, obliterates Meikawa with a bad lariat, like right to the side of her head. She rolls to the outside, and the camera looks at her, and it looks like Terry Powers is going to do a fucking, like, tope con hero. Instead, what happens is Terry Powers jumps, she leaps, she goes over the top, and her stomach falls on it. She goes ass over tea kettle, lands ass first on the apron, and the crowd and myself just go, ah! Oh, I love it. I love you, Terry Powers. I love you so much. Kaoru Ito defeats Bat Yoshinaga in 9 minutes. This was awful. Bat Yoshinaga like kicks her a bunch, and then Ito fights back, hits some double foot stomps, and wins. So Ito, the commentary, you can hear them touting Ito, new member of Jungle Jack. Looks like she's in for a little push. She is not the Ito that you think she is yet. She's very much still in shape and maybe has potential. I don't know. She's still pretty bad in 1992, and Bat Yoshinaga is no exception. Now we get into the meat of the card. The meat, baby. Tag team match here. Meltzer gave this sucker 4.5 stars. Now, I looked in the Observer of this time period in 1992, and this is when Meltzer went over for a 2.5 week span over to Japan. He went to like 15 wrestling shows. He went to a JWP show. He went to where he touted the Devil Masami match. He went to this show, the Midsummer Typhoon, where he claims at the time, the hair versus hair match we're about to go over tonight is the best match he ever saw live. I think that's changed at this point in time. He went to a couple All Japan shows. I think one was at Budokan. He went to a New Japan show, and then he went to a various like Wing and Wrestling and Romance show, which he touted as one of the worst live experiences he ever went to, which was a very funny read, where it like starts off with a like 45-minute Q&A with Tenryu, and then there's like really bad, boring matches afterward. It's a funny read. Anyways, I digress. So he gives this match 4.5 stars. He gives the Fuji Tag Team Tournament Final match 4 stars, and he gives the main event a full 5, baby. And I'm actually gonna flip a couple of these star ratings. I give all of these matches 3 stars, by the way. I loved what I saw. So it's Kyoko Inoue, Yoshida, and Takako Inoue teaming up. So we get a little double Inoue action. And they're kind of talking about it on commentary. Not really. They're teaming up more in 1992. We have seen it, but they're not labeled as double Inoue yet. That's key. And they're taking on LCO members Etsuko Mita and Mima Shimoda, and Cynthia Moreno. She's back. What kept this match from being great, or at least like to the 4.5 level great that that Meltzer gives, is I think Cynthia Moreno could have done a lot more in the match. She's on this current tour, it looks like, and she's very much a lucha high flyer. She mixed very well with Kyoko Inoue, and there's a couple moments there with Yoshida and Takako Inoue as well, but mostly she's stuck to the high flyer and Yoshida, who's on a roll with her springboards, and Kyoko Inoue, who has done a Mexico excursion before. So that was all cool. Mima Shimoda, she's got the little power window gear going on, and Mita is in the full like flame screaming, and this is what I'm talking about. Etsuko Mita has definitely like taken on the role of Bison Kimura, where she is a shit-kicking powerhouse that kind of towers over various opponents. The difference here is Etsuko Mita, I think, is way better at the little technical game, while Bison Kimura just had a bigger presence and more power to her game. Kyoko Inoue does a 35-second big swing in this match that really pops the crowd. And after 15 just glorious minutes of just nonstop action, it just never stopped, which is very cool. I love the go style, just filled with energy. Kyoko Inoue finally hits a Niagara driver and pins. Ooh, who did she pin? She pinned, I think she pinned Mita. Ooh. Let's see. Yeah, Mita. Yeah, Mita catches her with a backslide and goes into the Niagara driver. Okay, cool. The next match is the Fuji TV Tag Team Tournament Finals. Aja Kong and Bull Nakano defeat Akira Hokuto and Toshi Yamada. 19 minutes, 30 seconds. This was great. This I give 4.5 because the show that you watch on YouTube had pre- and post-match interviews throughout, and this was fantastic. Aja Kong and Bull Nakano aren't quite friends. They're kind of a little bit away from each other, but they don't like hate each other. It's kind of mutual respect at this point. So Bull Nakano's full Megadeth, Aja Kong is full Kong. And then, so they do their thing. They just, I love the interviewer goes over to Kong and she just kind of says, "I will kill my enemies," and that's it. That cuts to Hokuto and Yamada, and they aren't having each other. They're pissed off. They have a brawl in the back in the middle of an interview. It's like something straight out of like I want to say 1980s main event from WWF. It was really funny. And that's the story of the match. Kong and Nakano get along. They're there to kick ass, take names, throw lariats, throw bombs, beat up their opponents, hit in tandem guillotine leg drops from the top, while Hokuto and Yamada are just at each other's throats the entire time. Hokuto wants to use the stick, had enough of this shit, wants to hurt these bigger people that have caused her a lot of losses over the last couple of years, while Yamada is just continuing this like honor roll student gig and is really hurting the team. She's getting in Hokuto's way. There's even a moment here where she rips the sword out of Hokuto and gives her like hip tosses and shit. It's like, bro. And ultimately, it leads into some excellent near falls at the end, where it always seemed like Hokuto and Yamada were trying to, can they coexist? And eventually they kind of do, and that's when they get a little bit of the advantage, but Bull Nakano and Aja Kong just have, you have no shot against these two. Not when they're on the same page and just obliterating the two of them. So, real cool match. Look, Yamada tried kicking the legs out of her opponents. They did a small. They did. I think all the matches kind of had just a small submission time in the middle, but yeah. The big point is Hokuto and Yamada brawl to the back in the post match, while Kong and Bull Nakano get in each other's face and cut promos and sets up the big title match at Dream Rush going after this. Bang. We're there, baby. We've got it. We've gotten there. August. I don't think the Japan Grand Prix is over yet. So I think this is like a declaration I will win the Grand Prix. And if I'm mistaken, I'll fix that in time. But the timeline's about this we're about here. So yeah. Fantastic stuff. And our main event, Manami Toyota, Toshio Yamada, hair versus hair, winner take all. Winner keeps their hair and the IWA world title. So not the most prestigious title, but at this time, it's a little bit higher on the pecking order in importance than the All Pacific title. But the All Pacific title does serve a higher purpose over time. But in this window, I think over the next like year and a half, the IWA title, I think, is a little bit higher in the totem pole. So, Toshio Yamada has just had a like 20-minute 4.5 star tag match against the top two in the company and feuding with Akira Hokuto. I read like 4 reviews of this match and Meltzer's review, and with the exception of Meltzer and what I hear, nobody discusses how Yamada had to come out 5 minutes later and have this match against Toyota with so much stakes on the line. I didn't know that part about this story. I knew about Yamada and Toyota going to multiple time limit draws, going to the match where they had to restart it twice and they still went to a draw, couldn't beat each other, led into the Grand Prix of 92 where Yamada beat Toyota in the first round, which set Toyota off, saying, "I will put everything I have on the line to try and beat you, Yamada." Great story. I love this. And what we got here was an all-action match, nonstop, with a lot of like All Japan selling, where it's head kicks, drop kicks to the face, hitting Germans, popping up, and then falling down, the good sense of exhaustion. It's there's only a small kind of submission period in the first like 5 minutes, and after that, it's just both these two just trying to hit their key moves and exhausting their opponent to it. It really felt like this might sound a little crazy. It doesn't. It definitely has the more energy and pace than a, say, Jumbo Tsuruta type match from the late 80s, early 90s. But imagine that structure, like that big match All Japan structure with like a Jushin Thunder Liger El Samurai pace. And this is what I got here out of Toyota and Yamada. Obviously, Yamada has a martial arts background, so she's just kicking Toyota over and over again, while Toyota results to her dropkick spamming and her suplexes. The Germans and some high flying. Well, Yamada's goal is to keep her on the ground. We saw a lot of this with the Suzuka Minami strategy against Toyota and Hokuto. It was to keep them on the ground because they fly a little bit more. You don't want Hokuto to do her Konhiros off the top and her own version of drop kicks. So Yamada tried something similar with like stretch mufflers, and there was some wheelbarrow holds from Toyota. They're trying to match up, and that wasn't working because that was in a lot of their previous matches. So then the finishing stretch, it's like a good 7-8 minutes of this 20-minute match where they're just hitting their big moves and they're kicking out. The near falls are incredible. The sense of exhaustion is incredible. I love the selling. It roped me into the story. Toyota kicks out of multiple Germans, multiple buzzsaw type kicks. Yamada kicks out of the Japanese suplex, ocean suplex. I think twice, including a couple wild suplexes off the top. And finally, after a rad finishing sequence of Yamada going for a gory bomb, Toyota reverses that. Yamada reverses it into another gory bomb attempt. And then Toyota reverses that into a very exhausted-looking Japanese ocean cyclone suplex. The JOC finally gets hit and puts Yamada away. Guys, this was incredible. I adore this match. I wholeheartedly agree with all the reviews. Do I think it's better than like the Chigusa Nagayo Devil Masami match? Ooh, that's tough for me to call. That's tough. I'm really going to have to think that. Is it more emotional than the Chigusa Nagayo Dump Matsumoto hair matches? I think it's up there, but it's very different because of the way those two entities were in the 80s. From the match standpoint, it's obviously very different than those three. Chigusa and Dump were brawling. Chigusa and Devil Masami was a power game versus the biggest star in the world, right? While this one had so much innovation and match structure to it. They're three completely different things, and those are just three that come to mind right now. Two to compare to this one. The post-match angle, where would I be? Oh my god, I almost forgot. It's so Yamada's got to get her hair cut. Toyota is devastated. Now she realizes what she is. Her raven long black hair is all in her face, and she starts cutting her own hair, and the crowd gasps. And Meltzer pointed this out in his review, where in the audience, it's like 90% men at this point in time. And I usually don't like bringing this up to the modern era, but there was a stigma in the 80s, 70s and 80s with women's wrestling in Japan, where it was only for teenage girls. It was a fad, it was a pop style, right? And then when this new era came in and Nagayo left, the teenage girls left, and what ended up happening was a shift in a hardcore wrestling audience. Now, the common complaint today that people like to bring up specifically with Stardom, even though it's mostly every promotion out there in Joshi, is the common audience is like mid-20s to late 40s men. And Meltzer's live account was, that's what this audience was. So is there like an idol pop culture thing that you have to consider today? Absolutely. Is there a little otaku, maybe hikikomori type culture in there today as well. Yeah, there's some leftovers to all that. I don't think it makes up the majority of the audience anymore that it used to, especially in the like late 2000s, early 2010s, where it was essentially a survival method to make money. But anyways, getting off track. The point is, this audience was all men, and why that stuck out is because the 10% of women that were left behind were screaming during this entire segment with Toyota and this don't give a shit barber that's here to shave the head of Yamada. He's just like, who's this crazy bitch? Because there's like 6 people holding Toyota down, keeping her from like stopping the whole action, and Yamada takes this like a champ. This was utterly fantastic. I love the whole angle, the post-match, very emotional. It gets full marks from me. This is one of the best matches of 1993 I've seen, and it's full marks from there. Now, time for WCW, because do not have the Retro New Japan. I kind of wanted to concentrate on what I got to talk about today. So we're going to have quite the quick WCW review, because holy shit, this was bad. All right. Yeah, I was going to watch some a couple matches here, but no hurry on. There's really no hurry on 1997, 98 New Japan. Not quite yet, anyways. But I'm here to do Bash at the Beach 1999. Kay and I had our prediction of what the matches were: Nash Savage, Hardcore Invitational by Hardcore Hack, Van Hammer versus Rick Steiner for the TV title, Jersey Triad versus Malenko and Saturn, I guess for the tag, and then a boxing match with Piper and Bagwell. And holy shit. This is one of the worst pay-per-views I've seen from WCW yet. And I did a couple real bad Starcades there over on the Patreon, patreon.com/RedLeafRetrocast. Reviewed all the Starcades from 1983 to 1997, and on the free feed here you can listen to the 1998 one. Mean Gene opens up with the hotline, because why would we start off a pay-per-view hot, guys? Well, okay. They plug the Hardcore Junkyard match later. But we open up with the Cat versus Disco Inferno. I don't even want to review this match. It's terrible. Who wins? I think it's the Cat wins. Who cares? It's like 1 star. Oh, the star ratings that Meltzer gave this show, like everything was 1 star or less. It was really, really funny. Judgmental Lane's interviewed. Let's get it on, guy. I know him from Celebrity Deathmatch. He's here for the boxing match between Buff the Stuff and Piper. Match 2's the television title, Rick Steiner, Van Hammer. It goes like fucking who cares. Rick Steiner wins. It's a dud. It meant nothing. It was nothing. It's garbage. I'm having a miserable time. Luckily, I'm here with my friends. I should really pull up the match times. Bash at the Beach 99. Okay. I even tried listening to a couple of reviews over Bash at the Beach, and people were just having a miserable time, like, recounting this. It has a 1.91 on Cage Match, this show. Oh my god. Okay, the Cat and Disco Inferno went 8 minutes, God help me. Rick Steiner and Van Hammer went 5 minutes. Awful as expected. Okay. Let's see here. Mike Tenay is at the junkyard. He's touting it up. Poor guy. I wish he was in the arena calling actual wrestling. We get the U.S. title match, which is champion David Flair. Torrie Wilson comes out looking like a snack. Arn Anderson's there. Asia there. Ric Flair's there. And he's against Dean Malenko randomly. And they have an atrocity It lasts 3 minutes. Dean Malenko puts on like a couple suplexes, and then everyone gets involved, and David Flair wins. -1 star. Fuck off. And in what could be the best match of the show was the elimination 8-man tag. It's the No Limit Soldiers against the West Texas Rednecks. Rap is crap, boys. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of long, but it was kind of... Okay, the funniest spot in the match was when Conan and I think it was Kendall Windham. No, it was Conan and Barry Windham. They just like get out of the ring and just walk to the back. And they get counted out. Really random. Swole eliminates Duncombe in 6 minutes. It's fine. Hennig eliminates BA. Who is BA? I don't know. You shouldn't worry about BA. I don't worry about BA. So then Rey Mysterio eliminates Kurt Hennig at the 15-minute mark. And that leaves Rey Mysterio and Big Swole, the sole survivors of this like big elimination tag. It was kind of long. It was kind of all over the place, but it was at least very entertaining. Not very entertaining, sort of entertaining enough. The finish was kind of cool because Swole is like huge. There's a giant dude in the No Limit Soldiers who's like 10 feet wide. He was there to play interference and be a bouncer, I guess. Rey Mysterio does a splash at the top of Swole that looked really cool because he got pretty high. The Junkyard Hardcore Invitational. Okay. This was bad. But it was like the modern day cinematic match. Just everyone's at a junkyard. There's like a helicopter. There's shit on fire. There's barrels. There's just cars everywhere. There's a bunch of luchadors. Let's see. Okay, here's everyone that was in the match. Brian Knobbs, Cyclope, Dave Taylor, Hack, Horace, Hugh Morris, Jerry Flynn, Johnny Grunge, La Parka, Mikey Whipwreck, hey, he's there, Rocco Rock, Silver King, and Steven Regal. 4 people got seriously injured in this match, including Mikey Whipwreck got a concussion. Hack, I think, separated his shoulder and got a concussion. Silver King required, I think it was 60 stitches in his arm from a fall on a car hood. And who else? I think Cyclope also opened up his arm in some way. It's just a spectacle of people hitting each other with shits like chrome bumpers and car doors and punching glass, and the finish is wacky where somebody gets a forklift, sticks Finley in the trunk of a car. He escapes the trunk at the last second, and then they throw the car into a crusher, and then shit explodes, separating Finley from the group. But because Finley was like already over the fence, oh, by the way, you have to escape the junkyard over this like one fence entryway to win the match. So Fit Finley gets over there, he's like over the fence, and then the explosion happened. It was a mess. He wins this like trophy or whatever. What do you even say about it? The Triad retained the tag titles over Benoit and Perry Saturn. 3-on-2 handicap match. This shit's stupid. I hate this like in match Freebird rule. We've seen this match like 60 times at this point. It went 23 minutes long. It's exactly what you kind of picture in your head. Boxing match. It's Buff Bagwell with Mother Judy Bagwell out. She chases around Ric Flair for like a minute, and Bobby Heenan says she's trying to date him. Ric Flair is running away from it. Buff Bagwell and Roddy Piper with Mills Lane there. They have comically large boxing gloves. It's a joke from the get-go. They're doing worked punches with the boxing gloves on. And then after like whatever distraction, Buff Bagwell hits a couple wrestling moves and a blockbuster, and then he pins Piper. I don't know. It's dud. Who cares? And then in the main event, it's actually not Kevin Nash versus Randy Savage. It is now a tag team match where it's Randy Savage and Sid Vicious versus Kevin Nash versus Sting with, I think, the guy who wins the fall will win the title. This is stupid. Luckily, what ends up happening is Randy Savage just pins Kevin Nash in the end. But holy shit. This was bad. This was really bad. Like, Sting returns. It's all the whole fake Sting angle. You know, what's going on? Nash kidnapped Gorgeous George for 72 hours. Tori Wilson just came back. She's just with the group now. No mention of it at all. They didn't even try. And honestly, I can't blame them. They have an angle with Gorgeous George, has a black eye. It's clearly makeup because they did the entire Savage hit her in the back on Nitro, which caused a stink. And then it all basically leads up to mid-match. Gorgeous George is turning on Savage, and then she gets in the ring, low blows Nash, and Savage hits the elbow and wins. Like, it was a swerve. Oh, you know, whatever. The match was horrible. It had no heat. Everyone saw the swerve coming. Nobody bought it. Half a star, I guess, if you're being generous. Sting was the only one like trying to have a match, while everyone else just look. This is one of the worst events of 1999. It's really bad. There's not much else to talk about. Nitro's the next night. I don't know what they're gonna do, but Russo is like a month away now. Good God, we've hit rock bottom with this company, at least in this iteration. Guys, this was episode 99 of the Red Leaf Retrocast. Truthgate Positive Chain. See you next time.